Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Fantasy. Me. Add friends to become stronger. Chapter 61. The Mountainside World. It has turned into a land of frost, with ice crystals everywhere. A scarred monster swayed in the cold air. But the next moment, a huge frost sword suddenly rushed out from the thick cold air and nailed it to the ground. Roar. Monster lows. But the cold air entered the body and quickly turned it into an ice sculpture, completely shattering it. Meng Chengqing's figure slowly appeared and landed in front of Monster's corpse. He didn't look good either. The clothes on his upper body were almost completely torn, leaving only strands hanging, and there were many claw marks on the surface of his skin. Fortunately, it's not deep. It's just a little bit of skin trauma. It's really what you say. Meng Chengqing took out new clothes and put them on. This monster is called Silver Wind Purple Marten. What he is best at is the art of attack and killing. The speed can be described as extremely fast. If he hadn't raised the sword step to a perfect state, and the cold air affected its speed, he would really have been unable to react. But even so, the flesh body was still lightly rubbed a few times. You have to hurry up and improve your body refining skills. Although his own offensive power is already very powerful, he still has to rely on his own defense when encountering this type of assassination. Maintaining the status quo. Thinking about it, Meng Chengqing walked to the jade platform. I saw a box placed on the jade platform. It looks pretty big. Meng Chengqing opened it, and what came into view were two stones glowing with white light. What's this? Meng Chengqing was stunned. Until now, he has basically encountered elixirs such as spirit medicine. Stone. It's the first time I've seen him. Or. Meng Chengqing frowned slightly. Pick up a piece and look at it carefully. It's a bit like ore, but it seems to contain strange power. Forget it, we'll study it later. Meng Chengqing put it away, then turned and left, preparing to go to another opportunity. Soon after he left, two Taoist figures walked into the world inside the mountain. They are all very tall. The body is even more vigorous and strong. It was the Shi brothers that Meng Chengqing longed for. Why is this place already visited? Shi Yao looked at the melting ice crystals around him, broke off a piece with his right hand, stuffed it into his mouth and ate it loudly. There were 3 or 4 of them along the way, and they were all empty. It should be the work of the same person. There is a bit of coldness in those places, which is consistent with the one here. Shi Guang glanced left and right. Maybe I felt a little thirsty, so I broke off a piece and started eating. Then this person is quite powerful. He can kill so many level 3 monsters by himself. Shi Yao felt that he hadn't eaten enough, so he added a few more pieces. Well, he is a strong man. Shi Guang nodded. Then his nose moved slightly, as if he was observing something. The ground beneath his feet suddenly exploded. The whole person ran forward and came to the stage. Shi Yao also quickly followed. This is. The jade box was wide open. Although it was empty inside, Shi Guang's eyes shone brightly, the smell of marrow stone. Melstone. Shi Yao immediately took a deep breath. It is true. It seems that this is where the smelly old man wanted us to come, but the peaches have already been stolen by monkeys. Snapped. Don't use idioms indiscriminately, it's the first step. Shi Guang slapped him in the face and corrected him. Is that so? Certainly. Okay, you're pretty good. Shi Yao muttered a few words. What should we do now? The things have been taken away. Are we going to snatch them back? Pay attention to your quality. My mother said, don't point your fist at your own people. Shi Guang said, we can exchange him for other things. What if he doesn't change? Shi Yao asked. Probably not. For ordinary people, marrow stone is just an ore and has no use. But we are stone people, and this thing is much more useful than elixirs. Shi Guang thought for a while and said, all right. Who makes his brother smarter than him? He can only listen to his brother in everything. Let's go. This person shouldn't have gone far, we may be able to catch up. Good. The two of them immediately rushed towards the entrance. The 4th day. Although Secret Realm is dangerous, monsters have also become extremely powerful. But those who came in were, after all, disciples trained by Extreme Profundity's sect. Not those independent cultivators out there. The strength is there. If you can't do it alone, then form a team, so the light red opportunity points began to be quickly conquered one by one. By now, almost all have been cleared. But when they came to the crimson opportunity point, they found that it was no longer there. Clean and tidy. All they knew was that they had been taken away by those apex-level geniuses, so they rushed to the last chance point. After all, on the map, the color of this chance point is brighter than those deep red ones. It is dark red, obviously more difficult. It should not have been taken away yet. Even though it most likely has nothing to do with me, at least I can join in the fun. A remote valley. The ground here is fragmented and there are deep pits everywhere. There are true chi that remain, and there are monster chi that remain. It seems that this place has also been taken away. Meng Chengqing's figure slowly appeared. He looked around with some regret. But this was also in his expectation. How could he swallow them all by himself? It's not like the other apex-level geniuses just come in and sleep. Basically, it has broken through to the sea-opening realm. You can't be greedy. Meng Chengqing raised the corners of his mouth slightly. His gains are actually quite high. Of the 9 crimson opportunity points, he won 5 of them. Also includes some light red chance points. As long as you pass by, you will easily clear it. So there are already a lot of resources in Meng Chengqing's gift ring. Even if you get nothing later, the trip is not in vain. Now it's time to go to the last one. Meng Chengqing took out the map. The dot in the center is darker than crimson. Obviously, the monster guarding it must be very powerful. So Meng Chengqing did not go when he broke through to the sea-opening realm. If you can't beat it, it's a waste of time. But now you can try it. And I guess there are quite a few people there already. What the hell is this monster? Even the crazy sword was defeated. In the center of the huge plain, many inner disciples have gathered. They didn't have any intention of picking it up, they just wanted to see what was in this dark red opportunity spot. As a result, I saw Shang Wufeng's crazy sword. Within 10 moves, it flew out. Puff! Crazy Blade got up from the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were full of shock. This is really the first time he has encountered such a powerful monster. It is simply not comparable to those monsters and beasts of the same level in the Crimson Opportunity Point. Completely 2 levels. In the Xuanqing realm, there is such a powerful monster. It must have been specially put in by the sect this time. Never heard of it before. I saw a tall figure sitting on the gentle slope in the distance. The hair all over the body is luxuriant, dancing wildly with the blue wind. Although the eyes are red, they have the luster of wisdom. Apparently it's a smart monster. And the aura on his body is also extremely powerful. It is a 3rd level mid-level. Comparable to the martial artist of the Terran Sea opening realm 5/6th layer. This is no ordinary 3rd level mid-level monster. It seems to have a strong bloodline. Someone with sharp eyes said. Bloodline. Everyone was stunned for a moment, and then took a breath of cold air. This is an apex level existence with the same bloodline as the human race. Extremely rare. I didn't expect that the monster in front of me actually had it. No wonder Crazy Sword was defeated. Roar! Monster looked up to the sky and roared. Suddenly he raised his right foot and stepped on the ground hard. Just hearing a roar, as the grass shook, dozens of rays of light slowly emerged. Wait for the light to dissipate. The exposed appearance turned out to be a weapon. But what is different from ordinary weapons is that these weapons are full of crystal luster and filled with rich spirituality, like living creatures. Hiss! It's actually a spiritual soldier. Someone recognized it and immediately gasped. Although this is only 1 level higher than Balian, the distance between them is like sea opening and Tongchao. There is absolutely no reference to law manifestation. The cost of the spirit weapon is enough to forge hundreds of refined weapons, or even more. Because if you want the weapon to have spirituality, you have to find some rare spiritual objects and blend it into it. And in order to be able to withstand true chi and exert the power of true chi, the materials needed to make the spirit soldier are also very rare. Therefore, the value of spiritual weapons is extraordinary. Even if it is the true biography of the sect, not everyone has it. Some of the youngest ones probably still need 100 refinements. Even if you are promoted to true inheritance, if you want to get the spirit soldier, you still have to complete the mission yourself and save enough contribution points to redeem it. Wait a minute, this is a high-level spiritual soldier. Someone suddenly trembled, because he found that these weapons have 3 silver streaks on them. If there is only 1, it is the elementary level, 2 is the intermediate level, and 3 is the high level. "Oh my god, what a high-level spiritual soldier." Others also reacted. The higher the level, the power of the spiritual weapon will be greatly improved. There are some weapons that are powerful enough to directly bridge the gap in martial arts attainments, and there are even some innate things. The value of high-level spiritual weapons far exceeds that of basic level ones. The sect is too generous. High-level spiritual soldiers, I have a true senior brother, and even he has only used it at the elementary level so far. Everyone's eyes showed blazing colors. If you have high-level spiritual weapons in hand, you can imagine how much your strength can be improved. So, in order to defeat that monster, can the team obtain spiritual soldiers? Someone came back to his senses and said, "Hear the words." Everyone also slowly reacted. Judging from monster's posture, you must defeat it to get it. But it's normal. How can such a precious thing be obtained so easily? It's just that even the crazy sword was defeated. Who can defeat this monster? Someone said, "Don't worry, there are still some apex-level geniuses who haven't come yet. The brothers from the Shi family on Zion Peak, Wen Tianming on Yaowang Peak, and the shock absorbers on Soul-Severing Formation Peak on Penalty Peak. By the way, there's also Meng Chengqing from Lingxiao Peak." Others answered. After calming down, most of them had given up on the idea of getting spiritual weapons. Because it is unrealistic, I still know how much I weigh. Being able to come here and watch these top disciples fight with apex-level monsters is a feast for the eyes. In my opinion, forget it about Wen Tianming, Xiao Zhen, and Meng Chengqing. Didn't you see that even Crazy Sword was defeated? A disciple said, "I have practiced Kuang Dao's crazy intention art to perfection, but I still lost. These three people are at the same level as Crazy Blade at best. So we still have to look at the Shi brothers and Duanyun." Hear the words. Everyone immediately felt that it made sense. Although they are both apex-level geniuses, there is still a gap between them. "Look, Xiao Zhen is here," someone exclaimed. Everyone followed the sound. I saw a shadow walking not far away. High speed. Within 10 breaths, we were close. He is currently the strongest inner disciple of Formation Peak. Xiao Zhen. Sure enough, Xiao Zhen also arrived at the sea opening realm. Seeing the light yellow true qi surrounding Xiao Zhen's body, no one present was surprised. As an apex-level genius, if you can't reach sea opening after entering Secret Realm for 4 days, then you should just sleep. High-level spiritual soldier. When Xiao Zhen saw those weapons, a bright color suddenly appeared in his eyes. The hands under the sleeves clenched even more subconsciously. It is indeed a dark red opportunity. The rewards are really unmatched by other crimsons. If I could get one, I would definitely surpass everyone present. When it comes to soul breaking, the Shi family brothers must all stay behind. But soon, he noticed the monster. Just the breath coming out is a bit too overbearing. Especially that look. Just looking at each other. A chill ran down my spine. What a strong monster. Xiao Zhen's eyes narrowed slightly. He was lucky. After breaking through the sea opening, there was a relatively close crimson opportunity point next to him. He also fought against level 3 monsters. But that's all it feels like. It's just ordinary, easy to win. But this monster is different. Clearly extraordinary. Taking a deep breath, Xiao Zhen walked forward. But no matter what, you have to give it a try. After all, they are high-level spiritual soldiers. Seeing Xiao Zhen's actions, everyone is also looking forward to it. Only the mad knife wiped the blood on the corner of his mouth, and the cold wind blew. 4-symbol formation technique, Black Tortoise. Xiao Zhen roared. True qi surged all over his body and turned into a yellow turtle shell. However, the huge palm smacked down. Shot it directly into the grass. Then grab it. Throw it towards the crowd in the distance. Some inner disciples belonging to Formation Peak quickly went over to catch him. But Xiao Zhen had bleeding from the corner of his mouth and fell into a coma. Such a situation makes many people swallow their saliva and feel chills in their hearts. Although Xiao Zhen has not perfected the 4-symbol formation, this formation is extraordinary, so strictly speaking, Xiao Zhen is not much weaker than Crazy Sword. But it's only 8 moves. Xiao Zhen was severely injured. From this, it can be seen that this monster probably did not even use 50% of its power when fighting the Crazy Blade. This 173 monster is really too strong. It's definitely not something that exists in the Xuanqing realm itself. Everyone looked at monster, because it is impossible for such a powerful monster to be born in secret realm. And judging from its appearance, it is quite different from other monsters in secret realm. Able to stand upright and walk on both legs. If it weren't for the hair all over his body, he could almost be said to be in human form. Based on the combat power this monster has shown, I'm afraid it will take someone at the peak of the sea opening realm to defeat it, right? Someone said, who in our inner sect can have such combat power? When you first enter sea opening, is it comparable to the peak of sea opening realm? Are the sect's standards set too far? Otherwise, you think high-level supernatural beings are so good. Now it's up to Duanyun and the Shi brothers. Don't even think about the others. It's impossible to defeat this monster. Everyone was talking about it. Roar. Seeing that no one came forward, monster beat his chest with both hands, with a look of dissatisfaction in his eyes. Then he sat on the ground. This guy seems to look down on us. One of the disciples understood this and immediately said unhappily, "It's just a monster. When the soul is broken, the Shi family brothers will come over and want you to know what it means to be a disciple." Being looked down upon by a monster in this way, many disciples suddenly felt uneasy and said one after another. As time goes by, more disciples arrived one after another. When he learned what happened here, he was shocked. After all, it is quite rare for a monster to be so powerful. "Look, it's the Shi brothers, they're finally here," someone said excitedly. Everyone also looked quickly. I saw two figures walking not far away. The figure is very tall. They are all over 2.5 meters tall, with massive bulging muscles, full of explosive visual impact. Shi Guang, Shi Yao. Among the inner disciples of Zion Peak, he is currently the most outstanding existence. It is also the most talked about among the inner sect. "Two senior brothers, you are here." A disciple of Zion Peak immediately stepped forward, apparently acquainted with the two brothers from the Shi family. The disciple spoke briefly, but make everything clear. High-level spiritual soldier. Shi Yao's big eyes were filled with excitement. "Brother, don't you need an axe? Well, you also lack a sky hammer." Shi Guang nodded and looked at the spirit soldiers on the grass not far away. "Everything we want seems to be there." "Then I'll go first." Shi Yao is eager to try. "No, I'll go first." Shi Guang pressed Shi Yao's shoulder with one palm. "Mom said that when I go out, I, the older brother, have to go first in everything." "All right." Shi Yao was a little unhappy, but when he heard the word mom, he still drooped his head. Shi Guang started walking towards monster. This scene made all the disciples excited. Actually, inside the inner door, the reputation of the two Shi family brothers is much higher than that of Duanyun. There are 3 reasons. First, the physiques of the two brothers are extraordinary just by looking at them. Secondly, the two brothers often visit the mission hall and show up a lot. On the other hand, other geniuses basically live in seclusion. Third, there were rumors that the two brothers had extraordinary talents and had been taken seriously by the big shots in Zion Peak. "Senior brother Shi, defeat this monster." "Yes, you actually dare to look down on us." Everyone immediately shouted. Especially the disciples of Zion Peak were almost hoarse. With the look in monster's eyes, the conflicting points present also changed. Originally, a fight for a treasure like this would be a conflict between various factions. But now it has become between the inner gate and monster. Shi Guang walked forward. He also took off his upper body clothes, revealing his burly body, full of oppression. At the same time, the color of the skin was also slowly changing, and it turned out to be a kind of lime white. Monster, who was sitting on the ground, seemed to notice something. He actually stood up. I saw interest appearing in its eyes. "Human, bloodline." Monster spoke for the first time. "It's just that it's very unfamiliar, as if it's just learned." "You can actually talk." Shi Guang was very surprised. He looks tall and mature with a mature face. In fact, he is the same as his younger brother Shi Yao. He is only 8 years old this year. Even though my IQ is slightly higher than that of my younger brother, my cognitive level is still relatively narrow and it takes time to learn. In his mind, there was no way that monster could speak like a human being. And what surprised him the most was, monster could actually see the blood in his body at a glance. I remember when I went out, my mother said that we should hide our bloodline and not reveal it easily, unless we really feel relieved. So he and his brother stayed hidden. But this monster saw through it. I want, spiritual soldiers, to defeat me. Monster did not answer, but pointed at Shi Guang. It was also the first time I took a deep breath. The next second, his size suddenly increased to 30 meters, and his hair was like iron, especially his arms, which almost dropped to the ground. Extremely strong. Just imagining the scene of being hit by his fist will make your scalp numb. Good. Seeing this change in monster, Shi Guang not only didn't have any fear, but also had a lot of excitement on his face. This is the fighting spirit emerging from the blood. Stoneman bloodline, apex level body refining. What I like most is this kind of close combat. So many people. When Meng Chengqing came here, it was not crowded, but it was not much different. There are at least 1,000 inner disciples. The number coming in must be more than that. But not all disciples like to join in the fun. Some people won't even go to the light red opportunity spot. Go directly to other places in Secret Realm. Because Secret Realm itself has a lot of resources. These places are just established by the sect this time. Brothers from the Shi family. Meng Chengqing's eyes brightened slightly. He actually arrived almost at the same time as the Shi brothers. But compared to the Shi brothers, his reputation can be said to be relatively low. Therefore, the eyes of everyone present were also focused on the Shi brothers. He was almost completely ignored. Finally we saw it. Whispering, Meng Chengqing opened his exploratory eyes. The panels of the two brothers appeared before their eyes. Basic information. Name, Shi Guang. Race, human. Cultivation. See opening realm first layer. Property information. Root bone, 3rd grade. Comprehension, average. Blood vein, stone man blood vein, hidden. Kung fu and martial arts, Tiangong hegemony, perfection. Tianxing fist, perfection. The panels of the two brothers are almost the same. As for the attributes of the skills, Shi Guang's is better. Shi Yao's, Tianxing fist, is still in the state of great success. But when he was thinking about how to add the two of them as friends, Shi Guang was already walking towards the monster. Through the conversations around him, he also roughly knew the situation here. High-level spiritual soldiers. The sect is really generous. This thing, even if it is placed at the true level, can still cause competition among many disciples. Now it is placed in the small Xuanqing realm. Do you want to stimulate the potential of your disciples? So urgent. It seems that the previous news was completely accurate. The Qianlong list was knocked down by 5 or 6 places. New monsters need to be cultivated as soon as possible and put on top. High-level spiritual soldier. Meng Chengqing raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Not long ago, he was still worried about the problem of weapons. After all, with the improvement of his cultivation level, the 100 refined sword also broke as soon as he used it. I didn't expect weapons to appear so soon. And he is also a high-level spiritual soldier. With his own background and this spiritual weapon, Meng Chengqing couldn't even imagine how strong he would be then. But since Shi Guang got there first, then just wait a little longer. Do not worry. By the way, you can watch the live battle of Stoneman Bloodline. At the same time, Meng Chengqing aimed his exploratory eyes at the monster. In the words of the surrounding disciples, this monster is very extraordinary. It seems that it has activated its spiritual wisdom and defeated Crazy Sword and Xiaozhen one after another, and it was an extremely crushing way within 10 moves. Basic information. Name, Red Storm Diamond Ape. Race, monster. Level, intermediate level 3. Property information. Pedigree, powerful demon ape. Monster talent, Red Flame Slash. Monster talent, Diamond Demon Body. Monster talent, Demonic Ape Power. After reading it, Meng Chengqing's pupils shrank. Their expressions were the same as when they first saw the Shi brothers. It's actually a bloodline monster. No wonder the combat power is so strong. The bloodline is the same as the human bloodline. Only the most powerful ones can survive in the ancestors. With the bloodline, when the monster awakens its talent, it will basically move towards the strongest monster. His talent is so powerful that it cannot be compared with ordinary talents. And its talents can continue to improve as the level increases. The human bloodline is similar. Bloodline monster versus bloodline humans. This kind of battle is really rare in a century. The powerful demon ape, is it one of the 12 ancient demon apes? Meng Chengqing kept searching in his mind. There is some vague impression. I remember seeing it in some miscellaneous book. This red violent diamond ape seems to have developed spiritual intelligence. Thinking of this, Meng Chengqing's eyes flashed with passion. After coming to Secret Realm, he encountered many monster talents that made him excited. However, none of these monsters had wisdom activated, so he could not be added as a friend. It's a pity to think about it. Now finally a wise one. And the attributes of this monster are also very good. Must be added as a friend. This monster really does have bloodline. Many people had only guessed before, but now that they have seen the transformation, they are completely certain. The bloodline, just like our human bloodline, is an innate increase. No wonder crazy sword Xiao Zhen was defeated so quickly. Unless an ordinary martial artist realizes the power of martial Dao, he will never be able to bridge the gap. Between the words, there are sighs and envy. Most of the living beings are ordinary people, so how can they have blood or special physiques? The only thing that can be relied on is the power of martial Dao, but no one can realize it. This thing is too enlightening. And it also requires a deep enough martial Dao background. Even if you have a high level of understanding, you still need to practice for a long time. Only after you have perfected all the martial arts skills can you have a flash of inspiration and realize it. While everyone was chatting, on the grass not far away, Shi Guang also made some movement. But when he roared loudly, the muscles all over his body began to bulge, and his body size also increased crazily. In the blink of an eye, it's 30 meters. Stand shoulder to shoulder with the red storm diamond ape. And at this moment, his skin color is completely like lime, like a hill, filled with an indestructible aura. Extremely heavy. Under skin, there are even armor lines that appear and disappear. What kind of martial arts is this? Shi Guang's change shocked everyone. After all, it's incredible. He has grown from 2.5 meters to 30 meters, and he is almost a little giant. It's a bit out of the realm of martial arts. At least profound level martial arts can't do it. This is blood. Crazy Blade suddenly spoke. He has been silent since being defeated, but now his eyes are full of shock. Bloodline. Everyone gasped. It is extremely rare for monster to have bloodline, but I didn't expect Shi Guang to have it too. It should be some kind of body refining bloodline. Crazy Blade added. No wonder Shi Guang's body is so abnormal. It is far beyond ordinary people. It turns out he has blood. Everyone suddenly understood. In fact, there have been discussions about this in the inner sect, but there are really too few bloodlines. I have never seen two people using it. All martial arts are used. Over time, it will be forgotten. I didn't expect that he was actually a bloodline person. Since Shi Guang is there, then his younger brother is naturally there too. One double bloodline. What a great blessing it takes to create this. Bloodline is not available from generation to generation, and will gradually dilute over time, and eventually be completely wiped out. It would be great to have one in a generation. To be honest, when Monster really showed his bloodline, everyone was still panicking. After all, the power of blood is not something that ordinary martial artists can match. Even though the Shi brothers don't look simple, but fortunately, the Shi brothers also have blood. In this way, the starting gap disappears. Now let's see who digs deeper into their own bloodline. Boom. Between words, the battle not far away has begun. Stoneman bloodline is the body refining genre. The same goes for the powerful demon ape. It just belongs in monster race. The appearance of the two has a bit of a clash of fates. Tiangong overlord body. Under Shi Guang's skin, a pale golden luster began to emerge. Take its defense to the next level. And this martial art can also enhance your strength. Tianxing Fist. This is also a profound level high-level martial skill unique to Xian Peak. When aperture opening realm, you may not feel how strong it is, but now it has the stimulation of true qi. The power has changed qualitatively. But I saw honey-like starlight flowing around my right fist. Every punch struck was like a bombardment of stars. Red flame slash. The red violent diamond ape did not retreat. Its claws were like knives, burning with flames. Constantly colliding with Shi Guang. This is an extremely refreshing battle. Full of original flavor. The fist hits the flesh, like a heavy stone hitting water, causing ripples to sweep through. The huge claws scratched across the chest, sparks flew out, and stone powder filled the air. Within a dozen breaths, the battle had already heated up, and the grass beneath his feet was completely riddled with holes, with deep pits and ravines everywhere. Compared to monster race, the human bloodline is actually more auxiliary to training. For example, the stone human bloodline. When practicing the body refining technique, you will get twice the result with half the effort, and the effect after perfection will be far superior to the same level. Therefore, the mainstream of the human race is still martial arts and martial arts. However, human bloodline will also have something similar to monster race talent. It's called bloodline technique. It's just that this kind of thing is very rare. It requires extremely strong bloodline and continuous exploration of one's own bloodline before it can appear. Unlike monster race, you will wake up automatically every time you reach a level. The existence of bloodline skills is another reason why bloodline artists are far stronger than ordinary martial artists. It is said that bloodline skills were transformed from the very powerful martial arts of his ancestors. As this bloodline, seeing the battle between Shi Guang and the Red Storm Diamond Ape, everyone watching the battle was almost numb. Because this fighting style has completely surpassed their understanding. If you are in it, even if you try your best, you will not be able to block the aftermath of a trace of power, and you will even be easily crushed into slag. Even if I get to the sea opening realm in the future, I won't be able to have such combat power. Someone murmured, "Yes, we are all ordinary martial artists, ordinary." While excited, everyone thought of themselves again. This bright sky still belongs to these people of blood and physique. It is too difficult for ordinary people to squeeze in. They say they are ordinary, but in fact these people are considered geniuses to the outside world. It's just that in the extreme profundities sect, where this group of heroes gathers, it seems a bit ordinary. Boom boom boom. The fighting continues not far away. The two behemoths completely fell into madness. Relying on his terrifying defensive power, he didn't think about defense at all, he was all in an offensive posture. Hundreds of moves passed in an instant. Tianxing fist _ falling star. Shi Guang struck with both hands and made a fierce move. In his eyes, in addition to the intense fighting spirit, there was also a hint of shock. Because to be honest, so far, he has not encountered such a powerful being at the same level. No matter whether it is strength or defense, he is not weaker than himself. Magic Ape Power. The Red Storm Diamond Ape began to use its third talent. I saw that its original height of 30 meters had actually increased by 10 meters. Muscles all over the body are soaring. Each hair is like iron, and when it collides, there will be a sound of gold and iron. Human. You tried your best. The red violent diamond ape clenched its right hand into a fist. The moment the fist was raised, it was like a mountain hanging in the air, full of visual impact and a sense of oppression. How could that happen? Shi Guang's complexion changed slightly. Originally, I and this monster were evenly matched, but suddenly the monster's power increased dramatically. Already above myself, the current defense alone seems to be unstoppable. Boom! The red violent diamond ape punched him hard. Shi Guang did not choose to escape. They are all body refining creatures. How can we avoid it? All you have to do is fight head on. Fight head to head and win. If he hides, his whole body will feel chilled. Tiangong Overlord Body. Shi Guang activated the technique with all his strength, and his whole body shone with golden light, like the sun in the sky. But, boom, a punch landed. As if Shi Guang was hit hard, his huge body continued to retreat, and it stopped after a full 100 meters. In front of us is a long ravine, plowed out by his feet. Click, click, click. Many cracks began to appear on the surface of the flesh body. Many broken stones fell down. Silver-white blood gurgled out and flowed all over the ground. I lost. Shi Guang slowly raised his head, and although he was unwilling to do so, he still spoke. The words fell. There was an uproar immediately. Shi Guang actually lost. How so? In the eyes of everyone, the fight between the two was inseparable. I thought it would be a tie, but in the next second, Shi Guang was knocked out by a punch. It looked like he had suffered internal injuries. Human race, your Nuohaohao bloodline, is very strong, but you dug too shallow, and did not exert its true power. In addition, I haven't understood. Bloodline skills. The red violent diamond ape spoke. There was no pride in its eyes at this moment. Obviously, Shi Guang's performance has been recognized by it. My brother is only 8 years old this year. After a while, he will definitely be able to beat you. Shi Yao rushed to Shi Guang's side and shouted loudly. 8 years old. The red violent diamond ape was obviously stunned. Because of the appearance of this human race, it is not an exaggeration to say that they are middle-aged people in their 40s or 50s. But if it is really 8 years old, then this is a bit scary. He has only been practicing for a few years. The exploration of bloodline is definitely not high. If it weren't for the awakening of his third talent, it would be his blood talent. It's hard to say who will win and who will lose in this battle. Is it the blood of the stone man? The eyes of the red violent diamond ape moved slightly. In the inherited memory, it actually related to the body refining of the human race. The stoneman bloodline is one of them at apex level. But because the number is small, there is not much information. But it is by no means weaker than its powerful demon ape bloodline. This human race has not developed much bloodline, but it is already so strong. It can be seen that the bloodline is too strong. For bloodline people, bloodline concentration is also very critical, representing future combat power and potential. It's over, even Shi Guang has been defeated. It seems that no one can take away the high-level spiritual weapon from this monster. Someone said. There was a hint of frustration in his voice. After all, in today's era, the human race is the leader of the continent. As for the monsters, they were the losers countless years ago. But now, this monster has defeated everyone, like a natural chasm blocking it. It's really a bit embarrassing. Is the sect setting the threshold so high simply to keep us out of reach? Someone said. Everyone agreed. Even Shi Guang couldn't get it, let alone them. Okay, maybe the sect just wants to show it to us. After all, it is a high-level spiritual weapon. It is a treasure that most true traditions don't have. How can it be so easy to get? Hearing this, everyone could only nod. In fact, everyone knows that this dark red opportunity point itself is not prepared for them. But for those apex-level geniuses, incentive with high reward. Use high pressure to unleash your potential. Apex-level genius. Potential strength is often forced out. The more you fight, the stronger you become. I need the pith stone. His body shape gradually returned to normal. Shi Guang took a deep breath and spoke. Melstone. Shi Yao was slightly stunned. As long as I can swallow one marrow stone, I should be able to understand the bloodline technique. We will definitely beat this guy then. Shi Guang gritted his teeth. As a body-refining bloodline, he naturally does not allow himself to lose to other bloodlines of the same type. Must win, otherwise, how can I bring glory to my mother? But wasn't the marrow stone taken away by someone else? Shi Yao looked at the armor lines that appeared and disappeared under Shi Guang's skin. The hands are slightly clenched. His brother is a little faster than him in digging for blood. This armor pattern is the bloodline skill that is about to be born. But it still lacks some heat. The marrow stone is the essence left behind after the strange rocks of heaven and earth are shattered. For their stone man bloodline, it is a sacred object. I'll go ask, Shi Yao said. As a brother, he can naturally understand his brother's mood. Besides, he doesn't want to lose his bloodline to other bloodlines of the same type. The words fell. Shi Yao turned around. Facing everyone, shout loudly. Everyone, who among you has obtained the marrow stone? Is it possible to make an exchange? Melstone. Upon hearing this, everyone immediately looked at each other. Such a strange name, I have almost never heard of it. As expected of bloodline, this innate power is extraordinary, far beyond ordinary people. Changqing couldn't help but sigh when he saw Shi Guang being knocked back by a punch and the winner being determined. But he didn't feel much awe either. After all, the increase in sword power will not be weaker than these innate objects. The gap has long since been smoothed out. If a martial artist has both the bloodline and the power of a martial Dao, how strong would he be? Meng Changqing couldn't help but imagine. When these horrible things are integrated into unified harmony, it's really terrifying. And most of the peerless strong men recorded in history books should be like this. So, the only thing I'm missing from becoming the prototype of a peerless powerful man is blood. After regaining consciousness, Meng Changqing raised the corner of his mouth slightly. At this time, there was a voice from Shi Yao's side. Everyone, who among you has obtained the marrow stone? Hear the words. Meng Chengqing raised his eyebrows slightly. What is this? Not that I've heard of it. In fact, this is also a normal thing. After all, for most martial artists, marrow stones are almost useless. Wait, I remember getting 2 stones in a crimson chance point. Meng Chengqing recalled. It looks a little unusual. I don't know if it's what Shi Yao said. Thinking about it, Meng Chengqing walked forward. Regardless of AIDB or not, this is a great opportunity. Is good. If not, it doesn't matter. At least we can get to know each other through this, and we can slowly develop into friends in the future. No one answered. A look of disappointment suddenly appeared on Shi Yao's face. However, at this moment, a voice sounded. But this thing. Shi Yao immediately followed the sound. I saw one person walking out of the crowd and coming closer, holding 2 stones in hand. The moment he saw this stone, Shi Yao's eyes widened. That appearance and the smell blowing in the wind are exactly sushi. Call. 2 figures appeared in front of Meng Chengqing instantly, like dark clouds covering the sun, and the light was dimmed. Shi Guang, who was originally injured, also came over at this moment. This is the subconsciousness of bloodline, revealing the desire for the marrow stone. The arrival of the 2 men set off a small storm. Meng Chengqing's hair danced unconsciously. Brother, it's the marrow stone. Shi Yao was very excited and reached out to get it. But he was patted by Shi Guang and immediately retracted. Mom said, don't touch other people's things. Shi Guang reminded. Yeah, normally, Shi Yao would have muttered a few words, but now, he was looking straight at the marrow stone. Senior, brother, what do you want to change? Realizing that the newcomer's cultivation level was Sea Opening Realm, he quickly changed his mind. He was only 8 years old. In the same situation, he naturally had to be called senior brother. I have this, which one do you like? Shi Guang took out a spirit medicine stick from the holding ring. The brilliance flows and the medicinal fragrance is rich. Apparently a 3rd-grade resource. I have it too. Shi Yao also quickly took it out. It's 3rd-grade spirit medicine again. It seems that there are 2 crimson opportunities that were taken by them. Meng Chengqing nodded secretly in his heart. There is no need for this. They are just 2 stones that are of no use to me. I will give them to you. Meng Chengqing smiled slightly. Elegant and easy-going temperament. If you accept it, it becomes a pure transaction. And he wanted to become friends with the 2 of them. In the future, the favorability level will also be improved. Of course it is impossible to collect. As for this stone, he has already studied it, and it is completely useless to ordinary martial artists. How does this work? Shi Guang was stunned. He was still waiting for this senior brother to choose, but in the end, the senior brother didn't want anything and actually wanted to give it to him for free. Although very exciting, but I feel a little embarrassed to take it for free. If you feel that you must give me something, let's do this. Can you 2 junior brothers agree to a small request of mine? Seeing this, Meng Chengqing knew the time had come. I don't want anything, just for this moment. As long as the other party feels that they are owed something, then any request you make will get twice the result with half the effort. Senior brother, please tell me. Shi Guang was shocked. I want to make friends with these 2 junior brothers. Meng Chengqing said. The plain voice echoed faintly on the grass. It also fell into everyone's ears. Make friends. What magical requirement is this? Those are 3rd-grade resources. And it's 2 servings. It can play a great role in practicing in the Sea Opening Realm. If it were them, they would just change it. No need to hesitate at all. As for making friends, although it is indeed good to be friends with the Shi brothers, but it's a pity at the expense of 2 3rd-grade resources. Who is this person? After questioning, came doubt again. Because the strength shown by Meng Chengqing is Sea Opening Realm, anyone who can break through to Sea Opening Realm during this time period must be an apex-level genius. But this person's face is very strange. His name is Meng Chengqing, our talented disciple of Lingxiao Peak. Guiji Bei Cheng was killed by him. A Lingxiao Peak disciple said excitedly. Among the 6 disciples who entered the secret realm, it can be said that only the Lingxiao Peak lineage is left, and there is no movement. No particularly outstanding disciples appeared. Although other apex-level geniuses failed in the battle with monster, they at least showed sufficient strength and cultivation. Reflect on your own lineage. It's really a bit quiet. Fortunately, the appearance of Meng Changqing brought back a lot of impression points. Apex-level genius. We also have it at Lingxiao Peak. Isn't this already the sea-opening realm? Make friends. Shi Guang didn't pay much attention to what others were talking about. In his expectation, this senior brother may need other resources, or may need his help. But in fact it's not the case at all. I just want to make friends with them. Aren't the two junior brothers unwilling? Meng Changqing said with a smile. Yes, of course I do. Shi Yao came back to his senses and answered quickly. I am definitely willing to do this. Shi Guang also reacted and nodded. I remember my mother said that when going out, rely on friends and make more good friends. But so far, no one has taken the initiative to make friends with them, maybe because their physique is too scary. And senior brother Meng is the first. Okay, from now on, we will be friends. Hearing the answer, Meng Changqing couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. Finally succeeded. He had been looking forward to this answer almost 2 months ago. Ding. Successfully added Shi Yao as a friend. Current favorability. 1 star. Acquired attribute. Tiangong Overlord Body, perfect. Ding. Successfully added Shi Guang as a friend. Current favorability. 1 star. Get attributes. Stoneman Bloodline. The voice of the system sounded in my mind. To be honest, Meng Changqing was really shaken when he heard that the attribute obtained from Shi Yao was not blood. Fortunately, this brother Shi Guang is very capable. Otherwise you have to wait again. System, can this random acquisition be changed to independent choice? I feel a little scared every time. Meng Changqing cursed in his heart. But the smile on his face became even brighter. Now that we have the bloodline of the Stone Man, we don't need to worry about defense in the future. In addition to the Stone Man's bloodline, he also obtained the Tiangong Overlord Body. This is a profound level advanced body refining technique. It can be regarded as the most superior profound level technique in Xian Peak. Even if you don't fuse your bloodline, you can still rely on this technique to improve your physical defense to a level that is difficult to penetrate with ordinary swords. Moreover, the obtained Tiangong hegemony is directly at the perfection level. I also saved a lot of achievement cards. So all in all, what a great harvest. Here, get the marrow stone. After coming back to his senses, Meng Changqing put the stones, one for each person, into the hands of the two brothers. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Meng Changqing, a disciple of the inner sect of Lingxiao Peak. Although someone not far away shouted his name. But he decided to introduce it anyway. It's considered a courtesy. Thank you, senior brother Meng. My name is Shi Guang, Shi Yao. The two of them looked at the marrow stone in their hands, felt excited, and quickly answered. Although the marrow stone is of little use to ordinary martial artists, for them, it is far more than a third-grade resource. There are dozens of copies that are unmatched by the law manifestation. Senior brother Meng is willing to make friends with us. This is our honor, so this request cannot be regarded as a reward. Shi Guang thought for a while and said in a deep voice, this time, let's just think that we owe senior brother Meng a favor. If you need help in the future, you can ask us for help. Hear the words. Meng Changqing was slightly surprised. It's not like an 8-year-old could say these words. But this is a fantasy world, and age is not a determining factor. They are both 8 years old, but the elder brother is obviously a little more mature, while the younger brother seems to have the mind of an 8-year-old. Good. Meng Changqing smiled and nodded. Although he has gotten the attributes he wants most from the two brothers. But this is not the end, but the beginning. With the potential of the two brothers, as long as they don't fall halfway, they will definitely become apex-level powerhouses in the future. During this process, there will definitely be more good attributes on the panel. So you have to improve your favorability. It's considered preparation for the future. After all, once the favorability reaches 5 stars, you can directly obtain any attributes. We must hurry up and absorb the marrow stone. We will not chat with senior brother Meng. When this secret realm is over, we will find senior brother Meng to express our thanks. Shi Guang said, you two junior brothers can just do what you want. With the attributes in hand, Meng Changqing didn't have time to chat, so he needed to integrate them. Yeah, the two brothers immediately turned around and left, sitting cross-legged a little further away. It seemed that they were going to take the marrow stone directly and absorb the essence of it. As for Meng Chengqing, he still stood where he was. He was not prepared to fuse the stone man's bloodline immediately. First, after watching the battle between Shi Guang and the Red King Kong ape, plus the panel display, he already had a detailed understanding of the situation of the Red King Kong ape. There is no need for the power of blood, just relying on one's current foundation is enough. Secondly, bloodline is not a martial skill, and there is no telling whether any abnormalities will occur when they are fused. Look at the size of the Shi brothers. If they are really there, then they are really asking for trouble in public. So after thinking about it, I decided to merge later. However, the Tiangong hegemony technique still needs to be integrated first. After all, he is really lacking in defense. Just in case, let's make up for it. And as a martial arts skill, nothing abnormal will happen if it is not used. System, integrated with Tiangong T. Meng Chengqing thought silently in his heart. Ding! The fusion begins. A huge flow of information suddenly came to my mind. They are all about the insights of Tiangong tyrant body. It took a while to absorb everything. Meng Chengqing slowly opened his eyes. Subconsciously he looked at his hands. At this time, as long as he has a thought, golden light will appear in his physical body, as if he is wearing armor, and his defense power will be greatly increased. And Tiangong hegemony doesn't just improve defense. Through the operation of its heart meridian, true qi can be transformed into Tiangong true qi. This kind of true qi is very domineering and fierce. The power of a punch is 4 to 5 times that of ordinary true qi. Even if ordinary people practice both techniques, they will not be able to fully exert their power in battle. Because we need to control the amount of true qi. But I'm different. I won't say there are too many true qi to use up, but it's not that different. Don't talk about 2 exercises, even 2 more, they can all work at the same time. A variety of true qi flows continuously throughout my body. Meng Chengqing raised the corners of his mouth slightly. This is the power of origin returning gong. The integration is complete, now it's time to get down to business. Withdrawing his mind, Meng Chengqing looked at the red diamond ape in the distance. Then his right hand pressed on the hilt of the sword at his waist, and his left hand fell behind him. Walk forward slowly. Let's go. Even Shi Guang was defeated, so no one would dare to challenge that monster again. Many disciples were dissatisfied and prepared to leave. After all, the secret realm is huge and there are many resources waiting for them to harvest. Wait, look, someone is walking towards that monster. However, at this moment, someone suddenly shouted begging. Everyone immediately followed the sound. Only then did I realize that someone was indeed walking towards monster. The steps are neither light nor heavy, the speed is neither fast nor slow. It actually looks a bit like taking a leisurely stroll. It's Meng Chengqing from Lingxiao Peak just now. What does he want to do? You don't want to have a fight with that monster, do you? Seeing this, everyone couldn't help but started talking and stopped leaving. All eyes turned to Meng Chengqing. It's crazy. Even a bloodline person like Shi Guang has been defeated, let alone a pure martial artist like him. Have you not seen the fate of Kuang Dao, Xiao Zhen and others? They are both in the sea-opening realm. Which one will be weaker than him? Why not? When the disciples of Lingxiao Peak heard this, they immediately felt angry. After all, they were from the same lineage. How could they tolerate such words from others, so they immediately fought back. Phi. You must know that the dignified ghost Bei Cheng all died in the hands of senior brother Meng. Bei Cheng is strong, but that's only for us. If you let Kuang Dao and others take action, wouldn't they still be able to kill him? Someone retorted, senior brother Meng is just lucky, and he happened to meet Bei Cheng. Many disciples at Lingxiao Peak suddenly glared, but they could not find a reason to refute. Because judging from the current situation, senior brother Meng is indeed not as good as a bloodline person like Shi Guang, and is almost on the same level as Kuang Dao and others. Okay, what's there to argue about? Someone came out and said, senior brother Meng is also an apex level genius. Maybe he just experienced it in the past. After all, blood sister beasts are not so easy to meet. Hear the words. Many people think so. In today's era, the number of monsters has become scarce, let alone monsters of this bloodline. It's almost impossible to encounter. If you miss it now, it will be even harder to meet in the future. Thinking about it, everyone's eyes were fixed on Meng Chengqing's figure. No matter what, these are apex-level geniuses from their own sect. I hope they can last a little longer in the hands of monster. Xiao Zhen, who was in a coma, woke up at some point. Not far from him was Crazy Blade. Both of them also looked at Meng Chengqing, who was very unfamiliar to this fellow disciple. Never seen it before, but judging from his record and current cultivation level, he shouldn't be weak. I just don't know how many moves I can make with this monster. Brother, senior brother Meng actually wants to challenge that monster. Hearing the chatter around him, Shi Yao said immediately. Hearing this, Shi Guang opened his eyes. The two of them looked at Meng Chengqing getting further and further away at the same time. Senior brother Meng, are you too brave? This is a monster of blood, and even you, brother, can't match it for the time being. Shi Yao said, maybe just for the experience. Shi Guang's thoughts were the same as those of many others. Bloodline monster is rare, don't miss it easily. Meng Chengqing didn't pay attention to the voices behind him. Because many times, the facts will be the most powerful answer. Meng Chengqing stopped when he was still 30 steps away from the red diamond ape. This huge monster was far taller than him even when he was sitting down. Like a small mountain, human. You are no match for me. The red violent diamond ape glanced at Meng Chengqing, then continued to close his eyes. In its perception, this human race is no different from the first few. It can be suppressed within 10 moves. How will you know if you don't try? Meng Chengqing smiled slightly. In that case, don't blame me for being too harsh. The red violent diamond ape opened his eyes again and stood up at the same time. Of course I won't blame you, and I hope you don't blame me. Meng Chengqing answered. Blame you? The red violent diamond ape was slightly startled. Yes, I am not a very light or heavy person. I don't know how to do it properly. If I hurt you, please be patient. Meng Chengqing said with a smile. Terran. You are very confident. The red storm diamond ape was silenced by Meng Chengqing's words for a while, and it took him a long while to choke out these words. By the way, do you want to give you time to recover monster chi? After all, the battle with Shi Guang will cost you a lot. Meng Chengqing continued. Hear the words. The red violent diamond ape couldn't help but take a deep breath. This is the first time it has seen such a rampant human race. Don't you know that the bloodline user just now was defeated by it? Just a pure martial artist. Where does the confidence come from? The disciples who were watching the battle also fell into a daze after hearing Meng Chengqing's words. Senior brother Meng, does he know what he is talking about? If it hurts you, how sorry should I be? Do you want to give you time to restore monster chi? The meaning inside and outside the words is not for experience. I really want to defeat this monster. From Lingxiao Peak, does your senior brother have some problems here? Some people couldn't help but look at Lingxiao Peak's camp and darkened their heads. The disciples' mouths moved, but no words came out. Although senior brother Meng's performance was very impressive and he showed no fear in the face of such a powerful monster, his strength was not something he could just talk about. He had to be really talented. Otherwise, you will only become a laughingstock in the end. That's crazy. Even Kuang Dao, who practiced the crazy intention art, couldn't help but shake his head. So, human, are you ready? The red storm diamond ape took out a few pills and threw them into his mouth. Monster Chi's original deficit quickly made up for it. See this. Meng Chengqing is also completely sure. This monster is either from the Xuanqing realm or was thrown in by the sect. Otherwise, why would even have recovery elixirs? Certainly. Meng Chengqing slowly pulled out the sword from his waist. The blue wind is blowing, and the grass blades are flying. His black hair was also dancing in the wind. Inexplicably, the blood-red eyes of the red violent diamond ape narrowed. I don't know if it's an illusion. For a moment, a sense of danger flashed through my heart. You must know that even when facing the bloodline person just now, this has never happened before. Illusion. The red storm diamond ape didn't think much about it. After all, the feeling only lasted for a moment and could almost be ignored. And it also has absolute confidence in its own strength. Human, please, The red violent diamond ape twisted its neck, and a powerful aura began to emerge. Please. Meng Chengqing also faced him with a sword. Boom. The red violent diamond ape took action instantly. At the same time, he revealed the blood of the powerful demon ape, his body suddenly grew taller, and his hair became as black as iron. I never used it when fighting Kuang Dao and others. But now he uses it without hesitation. The reason is not that Meng Chengqing feels too strong, but to kill the chicken to scare the monkey. It is also a demon who likes purity. In order to prevent someone from coming to disturb it one after another, it's better to just do it. Just solve it with one punch. Cut off the delusions of everyone else. He actually used his bloodline directly. Everyone was stunned. Just now they were discussing how many moves Meng Chengqing could withstand, but now it seems that he may not be able to withstand even one move. This monster has no martial ethics. He actually used the power of his bloodline to deal with a pure martial artist. What do you know? This monster probably wants to defeat us completely and doesn't want to be used as a sharpening stone. Someone said. Hearing this, everyone suddenly understood. Yes, who wants to be other people's whetstone? Especially this monster is a bloodline monster. If its race still exists, it is also a genius-level existence. A majestic monster genius, but being enslaved by the sect, naturally felt a lot of reluctance. Senior brother Meng is going to be in trouble. For a moment, everyone seemed to have seen the scene where Meng Chengqing was seriously injured by a punch and flew out. The fist wind howled. The pressure made Meng Chengqing's clothes fly. Meng Chengqing also didn't expect that the red violent diamond ape would use its powerful moves when it came up. Extremely crisp and clean. So good. Meng Chengqing raised the corners of his mouth slightly. What he needs now is this kind of high-intensity and hearty battle. Humans, accept failure. The red violent diamond ape's eyes were blood red, with a hint of indifference. I believe that this punch is enough to make all the people here feel scared and not dare to take another step forward. Just quickly, its eyes narrowed slightly, because facing its punch, the human race in front of him did not show any fear. On the contrary, excitement emerged. So, make a mystery. The red violent diamond ape didn't think much and continued to bombard it. Meng Chengqing simply raised his hand. Hold the sword forward. It looks like an ordinary stabbing style. But, next second. Boom, the terrifying momentum suddenly broke out. Sharp and sharp, like a peerless divine sword, it broke out of its sheath and swept through the world. All the grass and blades around him were broken into pieces. It seemed like it was cut apart by countless sword energies. And that stabbing sword style also became extremely terrifying. What? The original casual expression of the red storm diamond ape also changed instantly. He didn't expect this to happen suddenly. A seemingly ordinary human race actually burst out with such a powerful momentum. And under the increase of this momentum, that simple thrust of the sword made his fist feel like it was being torn apart. When his heart was shocked, the red violent diamond ape also quickly stopped his hand and took a few steps back to avoid collision with the tip of his sword. After all, he just used the power of his bloodline. The talents are not activated. This is sword power. The red violent diamond ape reacted quickly. There was deep shock in his eyes. It doesn't feel wrong. This momentum is the momentum of martial Dao that can only be possessed by human martial artist. You actually realize the power of the sword. The red diamond ape looked at Meng Chengqing, his thick hands clenched subconsciously. Perhaps under the shock, even his speech became fluent. At this moment, it finally understood why this human race still dared to challenge him after so many people had failed. And he never showed any fear from beginning to end. The answer is simple. That means you have enough confidence. Has ironclad strength. Martial Dao's momentum. Just 4 simple words. But it is an amplification power that is enough to smooth out the difference in bloodline and physique. Sword power. The people watching also exclaimed instantly, with disbelief in their eyes. This is the martial Dao mystery that almost everyone dreams of. Only by understanding it can one be far superior to ordinary people and above righteousness. But not everyone can understand the mystery of martial Dao. It requires great understanding, great opportunity, and great foundation. Even in my own sect, only those monsters with the highest ranking of true inheritance can possess it. As for those who have realized it at the inner sect level, it is almost unheard of. But now, a living example appeared in front of me. Oh my God, the sword is really powerful. Some disciples came to their senses and were very excited. As an ordinary martial artist, this is what he pursues throughout his life. Although it doesn't belong to me, at least I saw it with my own eyes. This boundless momentum seems to be so sharp that it can crush everything. It is really shocking. No way weaker than those so-called bloodlines. Sword power, sword power. The crowd began to roar, and everyone was extremely excited. At this moment, they, like the red violent diamond ape, finally understood why Meng Chengqing said those seemingly crazy things. Because he has the qualifications to be crazy. Just with this sword gesture. He is no longer an ordinary martial artist. Standing on the same line as all the bloodline people. Who is this guy? Crazy Blade and Xiao Zhen stood up suddenly. The eyes are full of shock. As apex-level geniuses in the inner sect, they know better than anyone how difficult it is to realize the power of martial Dao. It's almost impossible to do with aperture opening realm. But judging from the situation in Meng Chengqing, it is obvious that it existed before the sea opening realm. Why was there no news about such a monster before? In fact, regarding Meng Chengqing's situation, Sun Haishan, the elder of the outer sect, had already informed the sect's senior officials when he introduced the inner sect. But the sect did not publicize it. As for Kong Linzu, the elder Feng at Jufeng Ridge, and his party, the same thing happened after they returned to the sect, and they did not deliberately publicize it. As a result, few people know about Meng Chengqing's sword power. By the way, there is also Qin Fang. It's just that Qin Fang had some selfish motives and didn't tell anyone. Brother, is that the power of martial Dao? Shi Yao rubbed his eyes and asked. Yes. Shi Guang came back to his senses and nodded. This is also something we need to understand in the future. But with our IQ, can we understand it? Shi Yao frowned and looked serious. Shi Guang didn't know how to answer. It should be okay. Remember, the old man outside said that IQ is IQ, and understanding is understanding. They are different. That's it. Shi Yao patted his chest happily. Brother, look at this martial Dao's power, how magnificent it is. It's no worse than our bloodline transformation. Shi Guang kept staring, and at this time he had no time to concentrate on absorbing the marrow stone. This is just the sword power. It is said that there is a sword intent above, which is even more terrifying. I didn't expect that senior brother Meng, who looks ordinary, could actually understand the power of a sword. Hey, this monster is going to be tricky. Shi Yao rubbed his hands excitedly. With the power of the sword, it is really difficult for monster to suppress him in terms of bloodline. Shi Guang replied. Brother, tell me, who can win? Shi Yao was curious. Not sure. Shi Guang shook his head. This kind of thing all depends on each person's trump card. It's impossible to say for sure. As for the disciples watching the battle, relevant discussions are also taking place. The previous topic of how many moves can be sustained has completely turned into who wins and who loses. Although some people are still optimistic about Monster, they have not spoken out. After all, it's hard to find a character who can compete with the bloodline monster again, so he must give his full support. Only by defeating this monster can we prove that the level of inner disciples of this class is very high, far superior to other classes. Brother Meng, come on. The disciples of Lingxiao Peak even screamed. Even some people I didn't know before, now they have become my senior brother's fans. Since the special physique came up a few years ago, the inner gate of Lingxiao Peak has been in a state of decline. Now finally another evil character appears. Enough to restore the inner gate of Lingxiao Peak to its former glory. Ranked first in the inner sect. I'm looking down on you, the human race. You may be the strongest among these people. The red violent diamond ape also slowly calmed down. I saw that there was no casualness in his eyes, but a deep solemnity. Excuse me, but it's just a weak effort. Meng Chengqing was as usual, with a gentle smile. It's just that it's covered by the sword's power. This smile has become extremely sharp and full of aggression. But this can only close the gap between innate. If you want to beat me, you still need a stronger trump card. Otherwise your ending will still be losing. The red violent diamond ape slowly stood up straight. But on the surface of its body, rich monster chi began to surge, making the hair harder and harder. In addition, both claws began to burn with flames. The first talent, Red Flame Slash. The second talent, Diamond Demon Body. Activate at the same time. You'll see, Meng Chengqing said calmly. Good. The words have fallen. The red violent diamond ape disappeared instantly. And the same goes for Meng Chengqing. Boom boom boom. In an instant, the two started the most intense collision. There were sparks shooting out everywhere. That was the collision between the sword blade and the beast's claw. The speed of the two was so fast that they almost became afterimages. Without a certain amount of strength, it would be impossible to keep up with the movements of the two. Red Flame Slash. The red violent diamond ape roared. 10 blazing claws streaked across the void. Set off bursts of sonic boom. Linglong Hanyu Jingtai Mountain with snow sky. Meng Chengqing held the hilt of the sword and inserted it directly into the ground at his feet. Rumble. Several ice mirrors rise from the ground. Block the claw light. Exquisite cold moon frozen for thousands of miles. Meng Chengqing drank low. The true qi in the body was activated without reservation, and immediately spread along the sword towards the surroundings. In a blink of an eye, it covered hundreds of meters of grassland. All turned into a land of frost. It was freezing cold and filled with ice and fog. All the disciples immediately retreated crazily and were almost affected. What sword technique is this? Not only the disciples from other lines were confused, but even the disciples from Lingxiao Peak were extremely confused. Because there is no profound level high-level ice sword art hidden in the martial pavilions. Moreover, the power of this sword technique seems to be extremely superior among the same level. Terrible power. It's probably a sword technique from outside the sect. The sect doesn't actually have many restrictions on the martial arts that its disciples can practice, as long as they don't practice magic and evil arts. Whichever one you want to learn from, just learn from that one. As long as you can get it, as long as you can learn it. Click, click, click. The moment the red storm diamond ape stopped, dense ice crystals quickly spread crazily upward from the soles of his feet and along his thighs. There is also a special cold energy, like sword energy, trying to break through its defense and invade the body. The red storm diamond ape can feel that if it succeeds, there will be big trouble. So, powerful, sword technique. The red storm diamond ape knows very well that ordinary profound level high-level martial arts will not be so powerful. It seems that this human race does have a good trump card. Boom. The monster chi swept through the body, shattering all the ice crystals on the body, and even repelled the surrounding cold air several meters away, making it impossible to get close. As expected of a bloodline monster, Meng Chengqing sighed slightly in his heart. So far, the enemies he has encountered rarely lasted so long. It was almost solved within 2 or 3 moves. But he didn't use all his strength. It's not easy to meet such a durable opponent. It's also good to fight more and accumulate some combat experience. And he has a lot of fighting ideas. This can be verified one by one in this seemingly even battle. As my cultivation improves, my opponents in the future will become more and more abnormal. I must strengthen my own foundation and constantly add trump cards. Only in this way can I go on the road of martial Tao forever. Through the red diamond ape, Meng Chengqing seemed to see the future. Boom. The red violent diamond ape came over with a fist again. Brother, have you noticed that senior brother Meng is becoming more and more skilled in fighting? Shi Yao blinked. He felt as if he had discovered a bright spot. Well, although senior brother Meng has a profound background, his combat skills are a little raw at first, and he may not have experienced many battles. Shi Guang nodded, but now, it is gradually getting closer to perfection, and I feel like I have reached perfection. So, senior brother Meng completely regards monster as a whetstone. Shi Yao suddenly realized, this monster is placed in the secret realm and is used to sharpen the knife. Defeating it is only the final goal. What is important is the process. Shi Guang replied, brother, something is wrong with you. Shi Yao looked at Shi Guang and said seriously, what's wrong? Shi Guang was puzzled. Don't you feel that you are getting smarter and smarter? You are starting to speak like an adult. Shi Yao said, have you stolen the little wisdom I have left again? Shi Guang shook his head and ignored it. It seems that I have indeed become a lot smarter recently. Not just 2 brothers. Many people present also saw some clues. For example, Crazy Sword, Xiao Zhen. This person's combat skills are constantly improving, and the speed of improvement is too fast. Crazy Blade narrowed his eyes slightly. They are almost the same as in the beginning. What a terrifying understanding. He is worthy of being a monster who can understand the power of a sword. Xiao Zhen and Crazy Sword subconsciously looked at each other, and both saw the solemnity in their eyes. I also saw a monster that would shine brightly in the sect in the future. Naturally, the Red Storm Diamond Ape also discovered it. Although my role here is to sharpen my knife, I don't want to do it. Every time these disciples make progress, it feels dissatisfied. It's almost time. The Red Violent Diamond Ape shattered several Frost Sword energies with one punch and took several steps back. Bloodline talents are not something you can just use if you want to. It takes a certain amount of time to recover. Otherwise, it would have used it long ago. How could it have been fighting this human race for so long? Let it increase in vain. Bloodline talent Magic Ape Power. After the inner roar, I saw the Red Violent Diamond Ape's body expand again, rising to a height of 10 meters, and its aura became more powerful. Have we finally reached this point? Meng Chengqing's eyes moved slightly. To be honest, he hasn't played enough yet. Maybe it's because of the improvement in understanding. In fighting against opponents of this level, new insights will constantly appear. It felt like he had opened some kind of mysterious door. Benefited a lot. It's really a bit reluctant to leave. So when the Red Storm Diamond Ape doesn't use his real trump card, he doesn't need to use it, so he seizes the time to sharpen his sword like crazy. But now the Red Storm Diamond Ape is obviously desperate. That can only be given up. The next blow will be the decisive victory. With the changes in the Red Storm Diamond Ape, everyone present also knew that the real decisive battle was coming. He couldn't help but open his eyes wide. My heart is in my throat. Human race. You should lose. The Red Diamond Ape stares at Meng Chengqing. The aura on his body has surpassed that before, and his clenched fist seems to have terrifying power and can easily penetrate mountains. Defeat. Meng Chengqing smiled slightly. This should be your ending. Then he held the sword in his right hand, slowly raised it, and pointed the tip of the sword directly at the Red Violent Diamond Ape. Linglong Hanyu Bing Jojo. The moment the words fell, the majestic cold moon True Q suddenly surged out of the body. Seems endless. This is the most powerful move in Jianjing. Meng Chengqing will not use it easily unless necessary. Such true qi power. The pupils of the Red Diamond Ape shrank slightly. In fact, whether it is the third level of monster race or the sea-opening realm of the human race, the difference in level is mainly reflected in the monster qi and true qi at the top. After all, he is a third-level mid-level monster. It stands to reason that the power of monster must be greater than that of this human race. After fighting until now, the remaining amount is definitely more than this guy. But the reality is, this person's true qi doesn't seem to be consumed very much. Still extremely abundant, can easily perform various powerful sword moves. Click, click, click. With the surge of true qi, a silver-white frost giant sword gradually took shape. The giant sword is extremely huge, with a total of 10 meters long. People are a little insignificant in front of it. A terrifying aura filled the air, and ice crystals continued to appear all around, as if the entire world was about to be turned into a realm of ice and snow. Strong sword moves. But not enough. Boom. The grass beneath the feet of the Red Storm Diamond Ape exploded, and its huge body, like a mountain pushing sideways, rolled towards Meng Chengqing with an unstoppable smell. Indeed, although the aura revealed by this sword is very strong, but it's still a bit different from the Red Storm Diamond Ape. Linglong Great Principal Heaven. Meng Chengqing raised the corners of his mouth slightly. This is his biggest trump card. Burn true qi to improve quality and enhance the power of martial arts. Call. The Frost Giant Sword, which was originally only 50 meters long, has grown to 150 meters after the introduction of the new true qi. This is an extremely shocking scene. The giant frost sword, which is 150 meters long, stretches across the plain, like a sword of heavenly punishment. The cold and sharp breath almost completely froze the area hundreds of meters in radius. Then in silence, it was chopped into pieces. Seeing this sword, the Red Violent Diamond Ape's expression changed drastically, and a look of disbelief appeared in his blood-red eyes. It doesn't understand. Why can such a big change happen in just a short time? Now the power of this sword has completely surpassed it. Invincible. Cut. Meng Chengqing waved Ren with his right hand. The frost giant sword suddenly stood up high and slashed hard at the red violent diamond ape not far away. This sword covers too much ground. Moreover, it was already so close that there was no way to hide, so we could only raise our arms to resist. Boom. Cut it off with one sword. The earth shook, cracks grew, and ravines formed. Countless ice fog filled the air, obscuring the view. Chapter 71. My God, what kind of power is this? The disciples around him were completely stunned. Most people are still aperture opening realm, so this is completely beyond their awareness. Even Crazy Sword Xiaojian and others are the same. Even though we have reached the sea opening realm. But the sword light and array light they condensed with true qi are only 4 or 5 meters long. But what about Meng Chengqing? A whole 150 meters. What a terrifying gap is this? Almost like cloud mud. How on earth did this guy do it? Crazy Blade is unbelievable. And he also has a ridiculous amount of true qi. Next to him, Xiaojian also added. I saw him clenching his hands, his eyes filled with shock and a hint of unwillingness. Both are apex-level geniuses. But now I feel a deep sense of distance. And powerless. This is a gap that cannot be caught up at all. If you were to face this sword by yourself, just imagining it would make you feel suffocated. Wait for the ice fog to slowly dissipate. The situation inside is gradually revealed. I saw the red storm diamond ape already lying in the huge pit, his body covered with sword marks and scars, and rich blood gurgling out. Looks seriously injured. Not really. Why don't you kill me? The red violent diamond ape murmured softly. It did not stand up, but still lay down. The sword just now could definitely kill it, but it suddenly disappeared in the end, obviously to hold it back. Why should I kill you? Meng Chengqing's body flashed and he was in front of it. Even after such a fierce battle, he's still in good shape. Even the clothes on his body were not damaged. Because this is my destiny. For some unknown reason, the words of the red storm diamond ape became smoother and no longer choppy as before. Fate. Meng Chengqing raised his eyebrows slightly. I am the whetstone for your disciples of the extreme profundities sect. Kill me to prove the path to absolute strength. The red violent diamond ape said. Hearing this, Meng Chengqing understood. The red storm diamond ape may be a threshold. If you kill it, you can prove that your potential is far above the apex level geniuses, and you are qualified to embark on the road to extreme power. The so-called absolute strength. Naturally, he is a peerless strong man. Killing and winning are two concepts. If you want to defeat the red storm diamond ape, you just need to be a little stronger than it. AICJ, but I want to kill. You are a bloodline monster. Wouldn't it be a pity for the sect to kill you? After regaining consciousness, Meng Chengqing said casually. I am monster, no matter how good my bloodline is, they will not pour resources into me. The red violent diamond ape said in a deep voice, in this life, I am destined to stay in the 3rd level and become a whetstone. To this, Meng Chengqing did not have any sympathetic thoughts. A war of races, that's what it is. The winner is the king, the loser is the king. If it was the human race that failed countless years ago, then maybe he is the one who is the grindstone now. It is true that the sect will not spend resources on monster. Wouldn't it be good to use these resources to train your disciples? Non my family, its heart must be different. Killing is just a formality. Whether I kill you or not, I will embark on the path of absolute strength. Meng Chengqing stands with his hands behind his back. The blue wind was blowing gently, his black hair was dancing lightly, and his eyes seemed to be shining with confidence. Your potential is far above mine, and you can indeed become that kind of existence. The red violent diamond ape looked at Meng Chengqing. That dazzling youthful demeanor really made him envious. It also wanted to stand up straight, but its fate was so cruel. Rather than killing you, I want to be friends with you. Meng Chengqing looked at it and smiled slightly. Quote? There was an obvious look of confusion on the face of the red violent diamond ape. In the more than 20 years since it came to this world, no one has ever said such a thing to it. In the eyes of the human race, he is just a slave. But this man wanted to be friends with him. Well, you are the strongest monster I have ever seen, both in terms of strength and potential, so I want to be friends with you. Meng Chengqing stretched out his hand towards him, I hope there will be another chance to fight in the future. This is the truth. This battle with the Red Storm Diamond Ape can be said to have benefited a lot, but it is still unfulfilled. It would be nice if I could hit it a few more times. In addition, the more important purpose is naturally the attributes of the Subao Diamond Ape. On the Ancient Beast Ape bloodline, there is also the final bloodline talent Demon Ape Divine Power, which is too powerful for the increase in power. If I hadn't practiced the Linglong Great Principle Heaven. If you want to defeat it, you really have to get into a dusty battle, and finally rely on the huge Truchi to drag it to death. But can the monster race bloodlines be fused? After all, he is a pure human race. Forget it, let's ask the system later. Even if it doesn't work, it can still be decomposed. I believe that with attributes of this level, high-quality things can definitely be decomposed. Hear the words. The red violent diamond ape clenched his hands slightly. There was an indescribable emotion in his heart. In its demonic life so far, it seems that it has never received such recognition. Human race, if you don't kill me, I owe you a favor, and since you don't mind it, I am willing to be friends with you. The red violent diamond ape stood up, stretched out his hand. Compared with it, Meng Chengqing's hand is naturally very small. But they still held it together. Ding! Successfully added the red storm diamond ape as a friend. Current favorability, 1 star. Acquired attribute, Bloodline Powerful Demon Ape. Trigger additional reward, Bloodline Purification Card 1. In my mind, the voice of the system sounded. A smile suddenly appeared on Meng Chengqing's face. Well, arrived at one of the best properties. If you want to use your bloodline talent, you must first have bloodline. Otherwise, even if you get that magic ape power, you probably won't be able to use it. Plus, there are additional rewards. Blood Purification Card. It appears for the first time. Judging from its name, it should be specially used to purify blood. Judging from your appearance, you should be a red diamond ape. Retracting his mind, Meng Chengqing asked knowingly, my name is Meng Chengqing. The red violent diamond ape nodded. A flash of surprise flashed in his eyes. Monster is actually a large general term with many types. And it is one of the rare alien species. Logically speaking, in today's era, no one should be able to recognize it. But this human race, friend recognized it. It seems that his knowledge base is also very deep. This name is too long. Can I call you Chijin? Meng Chengqing asked. Can. The red violent diamond ape thought for a moment and nodded. Talk about it. It really doesn't have a name of its own. Pure gold. It sounds pretty good. Win. Go pick a weapon. Kai Jin got out of the way. Even after a great battle, the grassland with the spiritual soldiers standing there seemed to be intact and intact. It was obviously protected by a formation. A spiritual soldier. Meng Chengqing looked over. In the battle just now, the 100 refined sword in his hand was shattered again, and 3 handles were broken. Senior brother Meng wins. Watching the scene gradually revealed after the ice fog dissipated. The disciples of Lingxiao Peak were the first to cheer. The eyes are full of excitement and excitement. This is a bloodline monster. There are so many apex-level geniuses who are helpless. Senior brother Meng can defeat him. Doesn't it mean that he is above the apex-level geniuses? Definitely the title of genius. It's really too strong. Disciples from other channels also asked Earthshaker to speak. In fact, when the sword appeared just now, they had already subconsciously believed that monster would definitely lose. And so it turned out. The only difference is that the monster is not dead. But he should probably hold it back. It can be seen from the battlefield situation. If you don't hold back at all, the battleground will definitely collapse even more. When Secret Realm is over, this senior brother Meng will be the true legend, but I feel that even if he has just entered the true legend, senior brother Meng will be better than most true legend brothers and sisters. Someone couldn't help but say. Of course, there are pros and cons in the ranks of true disciples, and with the strength shown by senior brother Meng, he is at least in the middle and above. Everyone was talking excitedly. It is an honor to be able to be with such a monster and be a witness. When I tell you about it in the future, I will feel confident. Whenever the secret realm is opened, it's not far from Kimai martial arts. Someone suddenly said. Relevant memories suddenly appeared in everyone's mind. 7 meridians perform martial arts. This can be said to be the largest event in the sect. Even the main peak of the sect will send disciples to participate. The most top genius in the 7 meridians get together and compete. Those who rank higher will not only get a lot of training resources, but also have the qualifications to enter the Taishuan Treasure House. Taishuan Treasure House. This is the core place of the sect. If you can put it in it, it can be said to be a treasure in the world. Take Kung Fu and martial arts as an example. That all started at Earth level. I don't know how far this senior brother Meng can go in the 7 meridians martial arts. Some people can't help but look forward to it. After all, Meng Chengqing is the only genius they have ever seen. My martial arts. Hearing the chatter beside him, Crazy Blade shook his head slightly. Secret Realm is nothing more than a small event. My Wushu is the time when heroes truly gather together. Only then can we see the sect's true disciple heritage. Prodigies from all walks of life, with unparalleled fighting power. Although Meng Chengqing has also entered this level, compared with those geniuses who have grown up in various veins from the beginning, there is still some distance to go straight. The potential they possess, the resources they use, the martial arts they practice, etc., are far beyond those of ordinary people. By the way, have you ever seen a broken soul? Xiao Zhen asked suddenly. No, Crazy Blade shook his head. Heng Tianming didn't see it either. Quote, forget it. If you ask Tianming, who can an alchemist beat at this stage? He won't come here to join in the fun. Xiao Zhen answered. Meng Chengqing walked up to many high-level spiritual soldiers. Each of these spiritual soldiers has its own characteristics. There are spears, halberds, heavy hammers, battle axes, giant knives, and more. Although the appearance is different, the surface is full of spiritual luster. Like a living creature, since you are practicing swordsmanship, you naturally have to choose a sword weapon. There are a total of 13 high-level spiritual weapons here. There is only one sword, or there is only one type of each weapon. It seems that the sect has placed so many spiritual soldiers here. Not that I thought so many people would get it, but he was not sure what weapon he would use to defeat Kai Jin's disciple in the end. Simply put, some more for selection. Meng Chengqing walked up to the spiritual sword and pulled it out from the grass. Rub. Unsheath the sword. The sword is quite long, at least longer than the ordinary sword, Tata Hichi. As the saying goes, there is only 3 feet of green peak. This sword is 4 feet long. In addition, looking at the whole body of the sword, it can be said that it is full of spirituality and sharp edge. Especially the blade of the sword, the flashing light will give people a feeling of skin being torn apart. Spiritual things. Meng Chengqing's eyes moved slightly. The reason why spiritual weapons are expensive is not only because the material itself is quite tough and can withstand the power of true qi, but also because it is fused with some spiritual objects. These spiritual beings were born in remote places. Has various features. Once integrated into weapons, it will bring qualitative changes to the weapons factory. For example, the spiritual sword in your hand is most likely fused with sword grass, sword crystals and the like, making the sword extremely sharp. If this sword is used, the sword energy produced will be 3 to 4 times more powerful than normal. In a battle, a single point difference is enough to determine the outcome. Not to mention the multiples. Didn't think much about it. Meng Chengqing bit his finger and dripped his blood on the sword. In an instant, a magical connection was made. This is to recognize the master by shedding blood. Boom! Meng Chengqing casually slashed out a sword energy, leaving a deep sword mark dozens of meters away. Good sword. Meng Chengqing's eyes were bright. This is just a casual blow, but it has such power. What if we try our best? I really can't imagine it. If he were to fight Chijin again, there would be no need to use the Linglong Great Principle Sky at all. The sharp edge of this sword alone is enough to break through the red gold Vajra demonic body and defeat it. What should I name you? Meng Chengqing's sword was in front of him. The mirror-like sword body reflected his eyes. Let's call you Kai Xiao. Meng Chengqing thought. Born in Lingxiao, he gained gold by defeating him. I remember that there seemed to be names like this among the top 10 famous swords in previous lives. Rub. Sheath the sword and tie it to your waist. The aura all over his body also calmed down, and he returned to a calm state without wind or rain. At this time, he no longer had the peerless mausoleum he had just now. Just like an ordinary young man from aristocratic family, there is nothing much to say except that he is handsome. You should be fine. Meng Chengqing looked at Kai Jin. No, it will be fine if you take a little rest. At this time, Kai Jin returned to his normal speaking rhythm. That sword was not only reserved, it was almost finished. It looks miserable, but that's all on the surface. Okay, I'll leave first, there are other things in Secret Realm. Meng Chengqing smiled slightly. Good. Kai Jin nodded. Secret Realm has been open for 7 days, and it is only the 4th day now. Before leaving, Meng Chengqing nodded to Shi Guangxi Yao. The two brothers also responded quickly. At this time, in their eyes, Meng Chengqing was no longer an ordinary senior brother. I didn't expect senior brother Meng's true strength to be so terrifying. Shi Yao swallowed, his big eyes still filled with shock. Yes, Shi Guang nodded. As for that sword strike just now, even if he and his brother were on the scene they probably wouldn't be able to stop it. It was completely crushed by strength. But as long as he realizes the bloodline technique, he should be able to catch up. Thinking, Shi Guang closed his eyes tightly. As long as this marrow stone is completely digested, bloodline skills can definitely be understood. Meng Chengqing did not stay here. Because there was no point in staying, and he had other things to do. For example, attributes obtained by fusion. There is also the need to look for special flames. As a second-grade alchemist, you can't live without alchemy fire. And with the departure of Meng Chengqing, the disciples here also began to leave one after another. However, the popularity of discussions about Meng Chengqing has not decreased at all, but has continued to soar. After all, there was too little information about Meng Chengqing in the past, and it was not as good as other apex-level geniuses. Many people only knew about it today. Therefore, the appearance of Meng Chengqing really gives people a sense of surprise as a dark horse. After leaving the plane, Chengqing looked for a place he had missed. Sit cross-legged, then opened the character panel. This time, I have added 3 friends in a row, which is a great harvest. Host, Meng Chengqing, opening square bracket ... closing square bracket. Kung Fu and martial arts skills. Origin returning Gong from the Sea of Darkness, perfection Linglong Great Principle Heaven, 2nd level Linglong Hanyu Sword Sutra, perfection Tiangong Tyrant Body, perfection. Unfused attributes. Stone Man Bloodline, Powerful Demon Ape Bloodline. Remaining rewards. Profound Level Martial Technique Attainment Card 2, Bloodline Purification Card 1. 2 major apex level bloodlines. Meng Chengqing's hands under his sleeves were slightly clenched. Anyone who can have one is a blessing. What's more, there are 2 kinds. But before merging, there are many things that need to be asked and understood first. System, if I fuse the Stone Man's bloodline, will I become like the Shi family brothers? In other words, is that look unique to the Stoneman bloodline? Meng Chengqing asked. With the fused bloodline, everything will be dominated by the host, and nothing abnormal will occur. The system answers. Although the words are short, they are concise and comprehensive. Meng Chengqing's eyes suddenly brightened. Any differences will occur. It means that it can be integrated at will. There is no need to worry about becoming like Shi Guangxi Yao, nor do you have to worry about the conflict between human race and monster race bloodlines. System, fuse the bloodlines one by one. After feeling reassured, Meng Chengqing closed his eyes and kept silent in his mind. Ding! The fusion begins. The moment the words fell, Meng Chengqing felt his body shake. Countless cold feelings grew in the body and gradually spread. Meng Chengqing immediately started looking inside. I want to see the specific changes in bloodline. Is this the Stone Man's bloodline? He clearly saw silver-white blood emerging from his body, which was completely opposite to his original red blood. At the same time, his physical body, whether it is flesh and blood or muscles and bones, is rapidly becoming tougher. The Stone Man's bloodline is the body-refining bloodline. In terms of defense, it can be said to be unparalleled in the world. Even if you don't practice any skills, it's hard enough in itself. Like iron stone, the fusion of blood was not that fast, it took a full hour to complete. Call. Meng Chengqing opened his eyes. A thick aura suddenly emerged on the body, like a mountain descending, towering and indestructible. As expected of the apex-level body-refining bloodline, the physical body's defensive power alone is comparable to the perfect profound level elementary body refining technique. If the Tiangong hegemony is activated, the defense will be increased to an unimaginable level. Unless you are a prodigy, or have high-level spiritual weapons, it will be extremely difficult to break through the defense. Meng Chengqing nodded with satisfaction. In this way, the shortcomings in defense will disappear. He wasn't given much time to check. The system started the fusion of powerful demon ape. There is still a strong sense of coolness, spreading throughout the body. It's just that unlike Stone Man's bloodline, when viewed from the inside, powerful demonic ape's bloodline is dark black, full of wildness. It stands to reason that when two completely different bloodlines meet, there will inevitably be repulsion. But in his case, it didn't happen. In the thick blood vessels, the three types of blood, red, silver, and black, are distinct and flow in a very orderly manner. It's a state where they don't talk to each other and don't fight with each other. The system is awesome. Meng Chengqing silently gave a thumbs up. Under normal circumstances, during the fusion, his own ordinary bloodline would definitely be swallowed up by the powerful Stoneman bloodline and completely transformed into a Stoneman. Then, Stone bloodline will conflict with powerful demon ape. Treat his body as a battlefield. In a fierce fight, he won't get any good results. And now, then there is nothing unusual. His own bloodline is still in a dominant position, superior to both, and is the one in control. This is also the state that Meng Chengqing wants most. While keeping itself unchanged, it only has its function. For blood, many people pursue it crazily, respect it, and wish they could become it completely. But in Meng Chengqing's view, no matter its bloodline or any special physique. In fact, they are all foreign objects. They are just tools to become stronger. What really makes a martial artist strong is himself, his own heart. The pursuit is necessary and necessary. After all, the power of blood is indeed very strong, but the status of the mount and the king cannot be confused. You must control the blood, not be controlled by the blood. As the old saying goes, a king is not proud of his bloodline, but his bloodline respects the king. Meng Chengqing stood up slowly. He has always understood this clearly. Big Power Demon Ape is a body-refining bloodline belonging to monster race, but it has a different focus than Stone bloodline. It will be slightly weaker in terms of defense, but stronger in terms of strength. Boom! Meng Chengqing raised his right hand and punched out. The terrifying fist wind swept across, and all the mountains and forests within 100 meters to the right collapsed, leaving a messy open space. Now, if I continue to practice martial arts such as fists and palms, the power will probably be as powerful as the sword moves with increased sword power. After all, the normal increase in power of the powerful demon ape's bloodline is about 10 times. If the talent is awakened, the demon ape's divine power, it will surpass the sword power. It's just that this bloodline cannot be used openly. Meng Chengqing thought in his heart. At the same time, look at the palm of your hand. I saw him at this time. The monster was dense, like a transformed great monster. It can be used as a trump card. It cannot be used unless absolutely necessary. With the demon ape bloodline removed, Meng Chengqing returned to his original temperament. Then there's the blood purification card. Withdrawing his mind, Meng Chengqing looked at the panel. This is an additional reward triggered when adding Chijin as a friend. Click for related information. Blood purification card. It can improve the purity of blood. The specific gain depends on the situation. Really, Meng Chengqing was not surprised at all. Just as he thought, for blood, purity is a very critical factor. This almost affects the strength and potential of a bloodline user. The higher the purity, the closer it is to the ancestors. Then the upper limit of the power that can be exerted will be higher. Bloodline skills and the like can also be understood easily, and they are far more numerous and stronger than those of low purity. And of the same bloodline, high purity will also exert a certain suppressive force on those with low purity. The system improves the accuracy of the Stone Man. Between the two, Meng Chengqing chose the Stoneman bloodline without hesitation. After all, this can be used openly. But powerful demon ape cannot do that. Ding! Consume a blood pulse purification card. Ascension begins. The words fell. Meng Chengqing felt that the blood of the Stone Man in his body began to boil. The original impurities and miscellaneous blood are melting, gradually becoming pure Stone Man blood. And the aura of the stone man on Meng Chengqing's body became more and more hidden. Shocking and breathtaking. Improvement completed. After a while, the system prompts. Meng Chengqing quickly looked inside. However, a ray of gold actually appeared in the originally silver-white blood. And this golden color looks very noble. Like a legendary god. It is filled with ancient and powerful atmosphere. Is this a qualitative change? It seems like a big improvement. Meng Chengqing's eyes moved slightly. Just like it is only 2 or 3 times purified, it is estimated that there will not be such a big change, and the probability is more than 5 times. The blood purification card is not fixedly improved, but depends on the situation. Sometimes it is higher, sometimes it is lower. So in layman's terms, this time it should be a critical hit. After leaving Secret Realm, I have to look for documents about stone men. Meng Chengqing has made a decision. Although he has merged with the stone man's bloodline, his understanding of this bloodline is still at a very superficial stage. It only knows that it can improve defense and is suitable for practicing the body refining technique. As for the rest, I don't know at all. Can't blame him. After all, there is very little information about stone men circulating in the world. But here is the Extreme Profundities sect. There should be relevant records. If not, then you can only go to the Shi brothers to find out. Now that the purity of my bloodline has improved, my defense has definitely been greatly enhanced. Meng Chengqing raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Even if you encounter someone who is good at attacking and killing, there is no need to worry too much. Unless you are holding a magic weapon or the secret skill of Transcendent. Otherwise, not even a bit of his fingernails can be cut off. As the saying goes, the best defense is offense. This is indeed true. But it's too difficult. The fault tolerance rate is also too low. It's better to play it safe and maximize your own defense. As long as you are strong enough, you can do whatever the wind blows from east to west. Next, without further thinking, Meng Chengqing took out the map. In the original plan, he had to go to many places because he needed to find resources to break through. It's just the establishment of the sect's opportunity point. Let him directly obtain the little broken mirror pill. Therefore, there is no need to travel long distances and spend a lot of time looking for those second-grade resources. Besides, it's now sea opening. Second-grade resources are no longer of much use. So in the current plan, there is only one last item left that has not been completed. That is, Special Flame. Without the elixir fire, he would not be able to officially reveal his identity as a second-grade alchemist, nor would he be able to make elixirs on his own. Falling Cloud Volcano. In the extreme northwest of the map, there is a dark red area. Although small, it is very obvious. Kong Linzu once said that this is where she got her flame. In the Xuanqing realm, there are no sun, moon or stars. Only boundless gray clouds filled the sky. It is also easy to ignore the concept of time. Don't even know how long it's been here. And news about Meng Chengqing gradually spread throughout Xuanqing realm. Have you heard that the dark red chance point in the center of the secret realm is actually guarded by a bloodline monster? A bloodline monster. Who can beat this? Of course there are people who can beat it, but the opportunity point has been taken. So strong. But the Shi family brothers. No, the Shi brothers lost, and I heard from witnesses that the Shi brothers also have blood. Hey, bloodline. That's right. Those two brothers don't look like normal people. They just have bloodline and can't beat them. So who can win? It's the apex-level genius Meng Chengqing from Lingxiao Peak. He has already understood the power of the sword, and with many trump cards, he can directly defeat the bloodline monster and even kill it. Meng Chengqing. But the disciple who killed Ghost Zibei Cheng. Sao, have understood the power of martial Dao and defeated the bloodline monster. This is the genius level. In many places, when the disciples met, they were discussing it. Master, they must be talking about senior brother Meng. As soon as Bai Suxi came out of a resource point, she heard two people chatting next to her, and the content of the conversation was about Meng Chengqing's. I was suddenly confused. We have already named him, so it must be him. In this huge Extreme Profundities sect, there shouldn't be another person named Meng Chengqing. An old voice sounded. Senior brother Meng is too strong, he even defeated the blood monster. After coming back to her senses, Bai Suxi suddenly became a little excited, and the look of admiration could not help but appear in her beautiful eyes. I haven't seen you for a few days. Senior brother Meng did something earth-shattering. Those who can be called bloodline monsters basically have extremely strong bloodlines. If you want to defeat them, or even kill them, your strength must be far above them. The old voice was silent for a moment, and then said, "That boy has just entered sea opening, and he has such tyrannical fighting power. It is really unbelievable. Even back then, there is no such record. After you get out of the secret realm, hurry up and break through. As long as you step into the sea opening, my teacher will teach you the strongest inheritance of our ancient demon style. Once you refine it, you will definitely be able to surpass this kid." The old voice said. There is a sense of contention in the words. As a disciple of the powerful demon Tao, he has been trained with all his heart, but he has been suppressed by a young man with no background. I'm really not happy with it. But he is a late bloomer, and his early lead is nothing. As long as he enters sea opening and accepts the inheritance, I believe Bai Suxi will definitely surpass him in one fell swoop. Regarding the situation in Secret Realm at this time, Meng Chengqing naturally knew nothing. At this time, he had arrived at his destination after a long journey. Fallen Cloud Volcano. In the process, he also met many disciples. Some people are trapped by the mechanism in front of the resources, some are trapped by monsters, etc. All of these are not enough. He also came to help, and did not turn a blind eye just because their appearance was average. After all, they belong to the same sect. Falling Cloud Volcano. Meng Chengqing stood on a boulder. The land ahead was red, with ravines and ravines. Rolling magma spewed out from the volcanoes in the distance, flowing crisscross in these gullies, like a big river. The blue wind blows. A blazing heat wave came oncoming. In the heat wave, the temperature is not only high and burns the body, but also contains fire poison. There is no certain body refining attainment. I can't stay here for long. Fire control and burning yang kung fu. Meng Chengqing's thoughts moved slightly. This technique started working instantly. But on the surface of the body, fiery red lines gradually appeared. After connecting with each other, they looked like clouds. This is the extremely superior profound level advanced body refining technique in Yaowang Peak. But the focus is on improving fire resistance and controlling flames. I hope my luck isn't too bad. Meng Chengqing tiptoed and rushed forward. The special flames used by alchemists are usually animal fires, essence fires, etc., because they are easier to find and are not less ferocious. It is both suitable for alchemy and fighting. As for the strange fire in heaven and earth, just think about it this way, let alone whether you can encounter it. Even if you encounter it, you will not be able to conquer it. If Chihuo still has intelligence, life must remain there. Meng Chengqing naturally didn't think about Chihuo. When it comes to fire control and burning yang kung, it's okay to absorb beastly fire, but when it comes to strange fire, it's completely useless. Secondly, this is just the Xuanqing realm, the second-grade place of creation. How could there be a sacred object of the level of Chihuo? If you want to contain beast fire, you have to look for a powerful fire monster. Kong Linzu had definitely mentioned this aspect in her previous chat with him. For example, somewhere in Fallen Cloud Volcano, there is some kind of powerful monster and so on. If this information is not available, I'm afraid Meng Chengqing will be like a headless fly and will have more troubles. Now, you can go straight to your destination. Soon. Meng Chengqing came to a lake. It is said to be a lake, but in fact it contains a large amount of magma, which is about 1,000 meters in radius, so it can be said to be quite large. Puff puff puff. In the lake of fire, there was thick black smoke everywhere, and occasionally fish-like monsters shuttled through it, revealing their vague figures. The temperature here can be said to be very high. And that's just by the lake. If you go deeper, you can imagine. If you don't practice some techniques to improve your fire resistance, you will be burned to death if you enter. In fact, with my current physical defense, even if I don't practice the fire control burning yang kung fu, I am no longer afraid of being burned by the fire. Meng Chengqing's eyes moved slightly. The stone man's bloodline improves not just simple physical defense, but all aspects, otherwise it would not be listed as the apex level body refining bloodline. However, fire control and burning yang kung still needs to be practiced. because it is needed to contain the flame. Integrate into the body. 3 fire scale pythons. This is the goal Meng Chengqing chose. It is also the strongest fire monster in this area. Until now, few disciples have been able to kill him. There are 2 reasons. First, the monster itself is powerful enough and is the second level peak. Secondly, this is the Lake of Fire, monster's home field, and the power of fire is extremely abundant. Monster's strength will also be greatly increased. Not to mention that it has crossed to level 3, but it is not much different. So over time, few people came to this place. The Hanyu True Qi inside the body surged, wrapping around the whole body, to be precise, the clothes. Although the physical body will not be burned by the flames, these clothes cannot stop it. He didn't want to walk naked on the lake of fire yet. Calm your mind. Meng Chengqing began to walk forward. Step by step, step on the thick magma. The seemingly extremely hot temperature could not have the slightest impact on him. Whoosh! Suddenly, a red figure jumped out from the side, with blood-red eyes and a mouth full of spikes. Bite directly towards Meng Chengqing. But Meng Chengqing didn't even look at it. Walk forward with your hands behind your back. True Qi turned into an ice sword outside the body and cut it in half. A second-level mid-level monster died directly. Swish, swish, swish. The death of a monster cannot inspire fear in other monsters. On the contrary, it increases the ferocity. Even though there is a huge gap in strength, driven by instinct, they are still fighting one after another. Soon, but in the face of absolute strength, quantity is meaningless. Aren't you coming out yet? When Meng Chengqing walked to the center of the fire lake, his feet were already full of corpses. In fact, he was quite attracted by some of the talents of these monsters, but it was a pity that he had no intelligence. Roar! The moment the words fell, the lake of fire suddenly became restless. The next second, a huge monster broke through the lake and rushed out. Far away from Meng Chengqing. The monster is 50 meters long and is covered in fiery red scales. Looks indestructible. It has 3 heads, and each head seems to be an independent existence. The blood-red eyes were filled with strong murderous intent. 3 fire-scale pythons, the strongest monster here. Unless a disciple of the Shi family's level comes, no one in the same realm will be his opponent. During the roar, the fire wind roared. The pressure made Meng Chengqing's black hair buzz. His expression remained calm. He even opened his exploratory eyes and looked at the panel. Basic information. Name: 3 fire-scale pythons. Race: monster. Lijiao level: level 2 peak. Property information. Monster talent: earth fire. Monster talent: flame dragon roar. Backquote: it's just average. Quote: Meng Chengqing commented. But this is normal, and he is not a bloodline demon monk. There cannot be any powerful talent. Roar! The 3 fire-scaled pythons didn't wait at all and rushed directly towards Meng Chengqing. Its body is huge, like a mountain, and it is full of oppression. Nothing seems to be able to stop its attack. However, shit! Meng Chengqing drew his sword with his right hand and slashed at will. The sword light was like snow, and chills spread across the bodies of the 3 fire-scaled pythons. Bang bang bang! The body split instantly and rolled all over the ground. One of the heads stopped at Meng Chengqing's feet. His eyes were still filled with murderous intent. It seems that he doesn't even know that he is dead. As expected of a high-level spiritual soldier, Meng Chengqing nodded with satisfaction. He simply urged into Hanyu True Qi, without even using any martial arts skills, and waved it casually. The sharpness of this sword alone was enough to kill 3 fire-scaled pythons. Not a single blockage. The next step is to contain the flames. Meng Chengqing split open the heads of the 3 fire-scaled pythons at his feet, and a flame suddenly emerged from them. Call out! The flames seemed to have spirituality and wanted to dive into the lake of fire below. But Meng Chengqing was prepared. He opened his fingers directly and grabbed it hard. The flames struggled wildly, emitting extremely high temperatures and becoming extremely violent. Trying to burn Meng Chengqing's hand. It's just useless. He couldn't even leave a mark on Meng Chengqing's palm. Fire control and burning yang kung fu. In the palm of the hand, dense fire cloud marks appeared, with a sense of restraint, wrapping the flames, and then gradually integrated under the skin. 2 more. Meng Chengqing found 2 other heads. The main reason why the beast fire of the 3 fire-scaled pythons is relatively strong is that it is not 1 fire, but 3 fires. When 3 in 1, a qualitative change occurs. Although it is definitely not as good as the strange fire of heaven and earth, it is still far better than ordinary animal fire. Very suitable as alchemist's elixir fire. Follow the same rules. Meng Chengqing collected all the remaining 2 beast fires. Although the perfection level, fire controlling and burning yang technique, cannot deal with the strange fires of heaven and earth, it can easily capture these beastly fires. Roar. Above the Dan Sea, the 3 beast fires met and began to merge with each other under the urging of the exercises. Wait until the fusion is completed. There was only a more blazing flame left. The appearance is almost the same as the 3 fire-scaled pythons. Full of ferocity, Huo subconsciously wanted to struggle, but many red chains appeared in his body, trapping him in place and unable to move. After struggling for a long time, he became completely quiet, as if he had accepted his fate. Finish. Meng Chengqing smiled. Conquering this beastly fire is much easier than expected. Of course, the main reason is that I broke through to the sea-opening realm and was overwhelmed by strength. Otherwise, if I want to deal with these 3 fire-scaled pythons, I am afraid it will take a lot of effort. Thoughts moved slightly. A wisp of flame appeared in the palm of his hand. The flames flickered, transformed into the form of 3 fire-scaled pythons. He may even look up to the sky and roar. The terrifying temperature actually affected Meng Chengqing's Hanyu True Qi. It is indeed a 3-in-1 device, and the temperature is much higher than that of a single device. Meng Chengqing was very satisfied. Although the accommodation was successful, it was only the beginning. In the future, it is necessary to continue to feed this fire with True Qi in order for the Dan fire to continue to grow. As for True Qi, he is absolutely indispensable. There should be 1 day left. Let's go shopping. Soon, the opening of Secret Realm has also come to an end. Almost all the disciples who come in can be said to have gained something. The only difference is the amount of gain. On the square, the light gate is still standing. At this time, several figures appeared. In addition to Elder Yi and Elder Lin, there are 4 other figures. Apparently they are the elders of the 4 meridians except Lingxiao Peak and Shengwu Peak. The purpose of coming here is also very simple. The main thing is to see how many disciples are promoted to the sea-opening realm. Then he will be brought into the ranks of true disciples. For the sect, every true disciple can be said to be a real mainstay, because if you can enter sea-opening at this age, your future achievements will not be too bad. This time, the sect has released so many high-level resources, there should be quite a few disciples breaking through to sea-opening. An elder said, I saw that he had a strong physique, and his hair was thick and tied into a braid. There is an unspeakable wildness. He is the inner sect elder of Zion Peak. The surname is Qin. This is natural. With the level of disciples in our sect and such high-level resources, a breakthrough is naturally a matter of course. Elder Xuan from Formation Peak nodded. This class has received benefits. If it were our class, or other classes, there would be no such good treatment. In the Xuanqing realm, there are only 3rd-grade resources. Elder Feng from Yaowang Peak said. The other elders looked at each other in deep agreement. The so-called welfare is still because of the Qianlong list. In Tianling Prefecture, although our sect is the dominant force, it is not the only one. There are also Giant Spirit Gate, Yanyang Valley, and Fengyan City. A few days ago, Julingmen and Yanyang Valley joined forces to launch a challenge to the disciples on their own sect's Hidden Dragon list. And defeated them one after another, taking away 6 Hidden Dragon positions. This can be said to be a huge loss. In order to regain his position, he can only increase his efforts to cultivate disciples. For apex-level geniuses, the Crimson Opportunity Point will not be difficult. As long as they break through to the sea opening, it will be within easy reach. The most critical thing is the Dark Red Opportunity Point. Monster is guarding the place with a noble bloodline, and it's not just an ordinary bloodline. I really don't know who can defeat it. The Elder of Punishment Peak said slowly. The sect is doing this because it wants to see if there are any genius-level disciples in the inner sect. Elder Yi replied, Tianzhao and genius are just 1 word apart. But the gap between them is extremely large. In a force, geniuses represent the middle and upper levels, while geniuses are the absolute top. I want a force that lasts forever. God's pride comes first. In my opinion, it's just the Shi family brothers from Zion Peak who have returned together. Elder Lin from Shangwu Peak said with a smile, I heard from people that it is almost certain that he has bloodline, right? And the extremely rare Stone Man bloodline. Yes. Elder Chin folded his arms and grinned. Stoneman bloodline, apex level body refining bloodline, is simply born for Zion Peak. I remember that the old Peak Masters have all left seclusion. That laughter almost penetrated the sky. Congratulations. Other elders can only be envious. Low profile. Elder Chin's eyebrows were full of joy. With the blood of the Stone Man, these two brothers have a great chance of defeating the Red Storm Diamond Ape. Elder Yi also spoke. Haha, let alone these two boys, don't you also have a weirdo in Lingxiao Peak among the inner disciples of this generation? Elder Chin said, it is said that before entering the inner gate, the sword was revealed. You said that, boy. A smile suddenly appeared on Elder Yi's face. This was the only bright spot of the intersect of Lingxiao Peak. The understanding is indeed terrifying, but the time to enter the intersect is too short, and the background is too shallow. I have not even learned high-level martial arts. Even though I have sword power, it is also impossible to defeat the Red Storm Diamond Ape. In this regard, no elders refuted. The power of the sword is strong, but it only increases. You must at least have a strong foundation. Buzz. During the chat, the light door began to vibrate, and it was obviously time to close the secret realm. Whoosh. Rays of light began to appear in the square. They are all disciples who were forcibly sent out from the secret realm. Some are still in a fighting state, some are practicing cross-legged, and so on. Densely packed. Is it over? The disciples looked at each other with regret on their faces. After all, Xuanqing realm is so big, and there are still many places that we haven't visited yet. The worst offenders are those who are about to get resources. Just 1 second away, the results came out. Suddenly he couldn't help but stamp his feet on the spot, furious. It can be said that there are all kinds of people in the square. Not bad. Seeing the disciples who had made great progress in their auras, the elders of the 6 meridians all nodded with satisfaction. But when the elders of Punishment Peak saw a certain figure, their eyes froze and then became gloomy. It's soul-breaking. As a leader among the disciples of Punishment Peak. At this moment, he is actually sleeping. He still maintained a strange posture, as if he had slept in an unusual place. Call out. The elder of Punishment Peak appeared in front of Duanyun instantly. What are you doing? The elder's voice was full of displeasure. Whoever enters the secret realm is not racing against time, but this guy is actually sleeping. Still sleeping soundly. The only thing that gave him some peace of mind was that at least his cultivation level had reached the sea-opening realm. Iron, elder. Duanyun opened his sleepy eyes, and his whole temperament looked very decadent. I asked you, what are you doing? Elder Tai suppressed his anger. Resting. In the past, he would have felt guilty and uneasy. But it doesn't matter at this moment. It smells like a mess. Rest. Are you going to rest in secret realm? Elder Tai was also a little surprised by Duanyun's attitude. Feeling that something might have happened, he softened his tone and said, tell me later what exactly you did inside. Hearing this, Duanyun twitched the corner of his mouth. What did you do? What else can I do? But he claims to be the best in the inner sect, but he can't beat anyone. He was even hit by a move, embedded in the mountain wall, and slept until now. What's there to say? One after another, many more disciples appeared. Including Crazy Blade, Xiaozhen and other apex-level geniuses. Buzz. Nearest to the light door, 2 figures slowly appeared. He is tall and strong in stature. It was the 2 brothers from the Shi family. What is different from others is that behind them, there is a huge weapon. This is a spiritual soldier. After taking the marrow stone, Shi Guang finally realized the bloodline technique, greatly increased his strength, and then defeated the red violent diamond ape. But it can only be said to be a small victory. As twins, there seems to be a unique relationship between the 2 brothers. When one makes great progress, the other will also benefit. So Shi Yao quickly understood the bloodline technique. On the last day of Secret Realm, he narrowly defeated the red diamond ape. Shi Guang chose the battle axe weapon, while Shi Yao chose the hammer weapon. It's the Shi brothers. The appearance of the 2 people immediately attracted the attention of many people. Although he failed to defeat the Red Storm Diamond Ape at the beginning, he finally regained his position later. And the power of blood displayed is also very impressive. Good. Elder Chin from Zion Peak laughed, and in a blink of an eye, he had already arrived in front of the Shi family brothers. This can be seen clearly from the spiritual soldiers behind the two brothers. That bloodline monster was defeated. The other elders looked at each other with envy in their eyes. If you can defeat the Red Storm Diamond Ape, you can be called a genius. And Tianzhao, it doesn't happen that easily. In addition, the blood of these two brothers is still so strong, and they will definitely be able to embark on the road to absolute strength. Who are you? Shi Guang was slightly stunned. He had never seen this old guy before. I am the inner sect elder of Zion Peak, and I am responsible for your subsequent true inheritance matters. Elder Chin said with a smile. It turns out to be an elder. Shi Guang suddenly arched his hands slightly. Shi Yao also followed suit. Because my mother said that when you go out, you should respect the elderly and love the young. Congratulations on defeating the Red Storm Diamond Ape. The sect has a special reward in this regard, but it was not mentioned in advance. Elder Chin said with a smile. In fact, it was them, the elders in charge of Secret Realm, who forgot about it. Mainly because I didn't think anyone could succeed at first. I didn't expect that the Shi brothers, who had only been practicing for a few years, could actually do it. What's the reward? Shi Yao's eyes suddenly lit up and he became curious. A spiritual cultivation peak, plus other things, etc., you can choose by yourself when the time comes. Elder Chin gently stroked his white beard. There was also a sigh in his eyes. Cultivation Lingfeng is a very luxurious treasure land. Even if you are a true disciple, not everyone can have it. It needs to be fought based on strength. But now, it is given directly. Then can we get closer to senior brother Meng? Shi Yao said. Yes. Shi Guang also nodded. After all, in the sect, senior brother Meng was their only friend, and he even gave them precious marrow stones for free. Such kindness. But can't forget, if we were in the village, my mother would definitely cook a lot of delicious food and send them there every day. Senior brother Meng. Elder Chin was obviously stunned. Who is this? To practice the spiritual peak, you can only qualify to obtain it by defeating the Red Storm Diamond Ape. Elder Chin immediately explained. Yes, senior brother Meng also defeated the Red Storm Diamond Ape. And he was the first to beat. If he hadn't held back in the end, the Red Storm Diamond Ape would have died by his sword. Shi Yao said. As soon as these words came out, the scene suddenly became quiet. The 6 elders were all stunned. They thought only the Shi family brothers had done it, but they didn't expect anyone else. Well, the senior brother Meng you are talking about, is Meng Changqing. After coming back to his senses, Yi Chong asked quickly. You can clearly see the look of anticipation in his eyes. Yes, the words fell. Elder Yi became completely excited. Although I don't know how Meng Changqing did it, it doesn't matter. Who doesn't have some secrets and trump cards? I didn't expect it, I really didn't expect it. This Meng Changqing has only entered the inner sect for a few months, and he already has such terrifying combat power. It's really surprising, considering that he wasn't optimistic about it from the beginning. And from the words of the Shi brothers, we can clearly hear something. That is, Meng Changqing is not simply defeated, but it can kill the red violent diamond ape. Only the most powerful person can do this. Congratulations, Elder Yi, it turns out that you from Lingxiao Peak are the ones who hide the deepest secrets. Other elders said one after another, their voices full of uncontrollable envy. Defeating and killing are two different concepts. Lingxiao Peak already had a special physique in the past few years, and now there is another genius level 1, which is really unspeakable. Buzz. The next second, the light door trembled slightly. A tall figure slowly appeared. White clothes beat the snow, and a long sword is tied to his waist. Occasionally, the breeze blows, and the black hair dances lightly, and the eyes like stars are shining with bright luster. He is really majestic, young and handsome. It's a pity that Hidden Valley is full of vitality, and there is a high probability that there will be good things. Regret appeared in Meng Changqing's eyes. He just wanted to go in, but the secret realm was closed. Shaking his head slightly, Meng Changqing didn't think much. As the saying goes, what I gain is my fortune, but what I lose is my life. He has already obtained many good things in Secret Realm. No need to worry anymore. Thinking about it, Meng Changqing took a step forward, but stopped instantly. Because he found that there were thousands of people in the square, and almost most of them were looking at him. What did I do? Meng Changqing was shocked. This scene is really unexpected. Call. A figure suddenly appeared in front of him. He has slightly white hair and wears elder clothes. You must be Meng Changqing. Elder Yi said. There was obvious excitement in his voice. Exactly the disciple. Meng Changqing nodded. Although this elder is only from the sea opening realm, he is an elder after all and still needs to be respected. Okay. When Elder Yi saw the long sword spirit weapon on Meng Changqing's waist, the smile on his face bloomed like a flower. I thought that the Shi family brothers would be the best in this class. In the future, Zion Peak's reputation will also greatly increase, and it will receive more resources from the sect. Who would have thought that the last one would be his own disciple? The resources in the practice world are limited. Therefore, everyone from small individuals to large sects and even sects need to compete on their own. I am Yi Yun, the inner sect elder of Lingxiao Peak. I am responsible for the promotion of the true inheritance. Elder Yi smiled and said, next, you can follow me. Good. Meng Changqing nodded. I thought I had to go to the inner gate Deacon Hall by myself, but I didn't expect someone was already waiting here. But it's normal. Generally speaking, if you go to Secret Realm, several disciples will be promoted to sea opening. The elder in charge of Secret Realm simply took him away. The future life is to be feared. Elder Feng from Yaowang Peak walked over, his eyes full of sighs. I remember that when I was in Jufingaling, this guy seemed to be in the 4th-5th layer of the aperture opening realm. How long has passed? He has already set foot in the sea opening. He also has the combat power to kill the red violent diamond ape. Elder Feng. Meng Changqing arched his hands slightly. He remembered this elder, and that casual palm strike left a deep impression on him. Although it seems like nothing now, on the contrary, it is still a bit weak, but at that time, it was the first time he saw the power of true qi. Really longing for it, senior brother Meng, Shi Guang Shi Yao also came over. It seems you defeated Qijin. Meng Changqing looked at the weapons behind the two men and nodded slightly. We only lack bloodline skills. Once we understand it, the apes will no longer be our opponents. Shi Yao clenched his fists. Bloodline skills. Hearing this, Meng Changqing's heart moved slightly. It seems that those two marrow stones are very useful. Open your searching eyes. I saw that there was indeed an extra line on the two people's panels. Bloodline skill. General armor, elementary level. It seems to be a defensive bloodline skill, which is in line with the characteristics of the stone man's bloodline. If there is a chance, I have to get this bloodline skill. Bloodline skills are actually equivalent to direct and perfect martial arts, which are engraved in the bloodline and passed down forever. I don't know what level of martial arts general armor is equivalent to. Meng Changqing was curious. Okay, let's talk about the small talk later, let's go first. Elder Qin said. He glanced at Meng Changqing, with a little helplessness in his eyes. Finally, Zion Peak is going to come out on top. As a result, such a freak appeared. Lingxiao Peak is so lucky. In this way, the Qimai martial arts performance in a few months will be able to show off again. If this kid grows up fast enough, he might be able to compete for that position. And you, the elders of each lineage looked at the other sea opening realm disciples. In addition to Meng Changqing, Shi family brothers, Duanyun, Guangdao and other apex-level geniuses, 3 others have also broken through to the sea opening realm. The quantity seems small, but this is only temporary. After a period of time, when many disciples have digested the proceeds of Secret Realm, then they will continue to sprout like bamboo shoots after a rain. This is what happens every time after Secret Realm. Yes, all the disciples bowed. Then, under the leadership of the elders of each lineage, a group of new sea openings left one after another. Only the inner disciples in the square looked envious. It's true, this is the core of the sect, and you can enjoy many resources and benefits in the future. It's not comparable to the inner door at all. Extreme Profundities sect. There are 7 main peaks in total. Surrounding the main peak, there are many small peaks, connected to each other, and there is a vague charm of a great formation of heaven and earth. These are the spiritual peaks. Under each spiritual peak, there is a vein of yuanxi ore, and with the gathering of corresponding formations, the energy in the spiritual peak can be said to be extremely abundant. Very suitable for practice. Practicing here can be said to be 5 or 6 days outside in one day. But the number of spiritual peaks is limited. It cannot be provided for every true disciple. So this requires true disciples to compete with each other. Every once in a while, the sect will open up some vacant spiritual peaks. Some were newly built, while others were left by the original owners. In addition, in order to increase the enthusiasm of the disciples to practice, the sect allows disciples to compete with each other, and the winner can win the loser's spiritual peak. There is no spiritual peak that will always belong to one person. From now on, this will be your spiritual peak, Elder Yi said with a smile. Meng Chengqing looked around. The summit of Lingfeng is already at your feet. Although it is said to be a small peak, it is actually not much lower than the main peak. It is probably 2/3 of the height. The surrounding view is vast, surrounded by clouds and mist, and when they meet, it is like a sea of clouds. The scenery can be said to be quite magnificent. If you practice in a place like this for a long time, your mind will become bolder. In addition, in terms of vitality, it is indeed very full. It has almost reached the stage of turning clouds into rain. Just take a breath, and the true qi in Danhai will feel a little stronger. Good place. Meng Chengqing nodded and said from the bottom of his heart. Haha, in the sect, Lingfeng can also be said to be a very precious cultivation resource, but not everyone can have it. Elder Yi stroked his white beard and said, the total is only 108. So little. Meng Chengqing was slightly stunned. Well, so you have to keep getting stronger, otherwise you will be squeezed out by others. Elder Yi smiled and said, but with your strength and potential, there shouldn't be any problems in this regard. This is a new spiritual peak. You can give it a name when you have time. Also, have you decided what you want? After defeating the Red Storm Diamond Ape, in addition to the spiritual peak, you can also choose between spiritual weapons, third-grade elixirs, earth-level martial arts, etc. I choose earth-level martial arts. Meng Chengqing did not hesitate. Although he already has 2 earth levels in his hand, one is to increase true qi, and the other is a secret technique. It's not the type of martial arts at all. In the past, Meng Chengqing might not have been so urgent. But it's different now. Among the true disciples, especially those at the top, there is a high probability that they have earth-level martial arts. I would be at a great disadvantage if I didn't have one. So we must step up and strengthen our foundation. Good. Elder Yi took out a token from his arms and handed it to Guo Chengqing. This token is silver in color. The front is Taizan, and the back is the word, De. With this card, you can go to the martial pavilions and exchange it with the elder of the pavilion for an earth-level elementary martial skill. Elder Yi said with a smile. At the same time, a flash of desire flashed in his eyes. Although he is an inner sect elder, he is actually the lowest among the elders. There is no way, who makes oneself lack of potential. Nearly 40 years old, still hanging around in the sea-opening realm, unable to make a breakthrough. In the end, he could only choose to become an inner elder. Therefore, the precious earth-level martial arts naturally cannot be touched by him. In fact, in the sect, not all true disciples can practice earth-level martial arts. On the contrary, there are relatively few, because for any force, earth-level martial arts are core things and cannot be easily taught to disciples. It requires many considerations. It will be taught at the end. Good. Meng Chengqing nodded. Also, there is one more thing I want to tell you. As if thinking of something, the group leader patted his head. Elder Yi, please speak. In 3 months' time, the Kimai martial arts performance will begin. The specific time has not yet been determined. Just wait for the announcement. Elder Yi said. 7 meridians performing martial arts. Meng Chengqing was slightly stunned. Huh, don't you know? Elder Yi was a little surprised by Meng Chengqing's reaction. As an inner sect disciple, he should be aware of Kimai Yanwu. However, considering that Meng Chengqing had just entered the inner gate not long ago, it is normal to not know. The so-called 7 Meridians martial arts is a grand gathering where disciples of the 7 Meridians of Taishuan gather together to compete. The first is to assess the strength of the disciples of each lineage. Secondly, it also determines the future resource allocation of the sect, etc. It's very important anyway. Elder Yi gave a brief introduction. I see. Meng Chengqing suddenly realized. This kind of competition seems to be a competition between disciples, but it is more of a matter of resource allocation. After all, there are too many monks and too little rice. The higher the level of resources, the scarcer they are. As members of the same family, we definitely cannot live or die against each other, so we can only use this method. Also, I heard that the Qi Yan Wu this time is a little different. Elder Yi suddenly felt a little mysterious. Oh, I'd like to hear the details. It is said that the headmaster has the idea of electing a successor from this martial arts performance. Hear the words. Meng Chengqing's pupils shrank. Successor. Isn't that the next sect leader? After so many years, does the sect still have no successor? The headmaster is still very young. It is said that he is only over 100 years old. Elder Yi seemed to notice Meng Chengqing's doubts, and immediately explained with a smile, although there is not much time left before Qimai martial arts, with your strength, I believe you can get a good ranking in martial arts. Stay as far forward as you can. The rewards given by Yanwu are much higher than those in the Xuanqing realm, and those with 3rd grade, 4th grade, and even 5th grade resources are available. Are there any resources for 4th grade? Meng Chengqing tightened his hands slightly. Although he obtained a lot of resources in the Xuanqing realm, they will be digested soon, and the family will no longer be able to provide him with help. From now on, you'll just have to figure it out on your own. But now Qimai martial arts actually has such generous rewards. Then you definitely can't miss it. Come on, I hope to see you show off your talents in martial arts and be among the best. I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. Elder Yi said with a smile. Then he turned and left. Even so, he was actually just talking. Different from the inner sect level, the water in the ranks of true disciples is really deep. Those top-ranked talents and geniuses were basically cultivated from a young age, and their combat prowess was quite terrifying. Meng Chengqing's potential is indeed very high, but he is not a new player. Sea opening realm is not aperture opening realm, and the cultivation progress cannot be that fast. Elder, walk slowly. After Elder Yi left, Meng Chengqing looked around. I remember that it was just a small courtyard before, but now it has a spiritual peak. The gap is really big. Sure enough, in any world, strength is the most important thing. Only by constantly becoming stronger can you enjoy better things. The top of Lingfeng is quite wide. It felt like being cut flat with a sword. There are patches of bamboo forest, which sway with the blue wind and make a whirling sound. There are also rockeries, ponds, pavilions and attics. The environment can be said to be quite elegant. After walking around for a while to get familiar with it, Meng Chengqing left. He now needs to go hide in the martial pavilions and redeem an Earth-level elementary martial skill as soon as possible. With current understanding, there is no problem in practicing on his own. But with the system in place, we will definitely make friends. What a time and effort saver. Cultivation requires efficiency. If you exchange your martial arts skills, you can use them openly in the future. Don't worry about the source. The sect is so strict about access to profound level martial arts, let alone Earth level. In addition, you have to find time to do some sect tasks. You have to change it when you get Tiangong Overlord body in Secret Realm, otherwise you won't be able to use it openly. A familiar road. Meng Chengqing came to Tibetan martial pavilions again. There were a few disciples here today, but I didn't see any of them. Maybe it's because Secret Realm just ended. The elder guarding the pavilion was still lying on the rocking chair, with a book covering his face and shaking slightly, looking very leisurely. Meng Chengqing has also been jealous of this elder for a long time. Open your searching eyes. Basic information. Name, Yun Buju. Race, human. Repair, Sea opening realm first layer, tentative. Property information. Root bone, 3rd grade. Comprehension, superior. Kung Fu and martial arts. Holy Spirit killing sword technique. Dacheng, shrink the earth to an inch. Xiaocheng, Great Bei Feng Universe Palm, Xiaocheng. Meng Chengqing has basically seen all the martial arts in martial pavilions. He could be sure that without these on the panel, the meaning would be obvious. The martial arts and martial arts that the elders know are definitely Earth level. Only Earth level will not be placed in hidden martial pavilions. And just based on the names of these martial arts, it seems that the level is not low. It's really difficult to add the elder who keeps the pavilion as a friend. First of all, there is a high probability that he is a hidden boss cultivating here. There is also a huge gap between the second generation. The difficulty of making friends is definitely several times that of other people. But although it is difficult, we still have to find a way to solve it. This is ready-made gold, glittering before your eyes. If you get any martial skill attribute, you will make a lot of money. I met the elder. Coming closer, Meng Chengqing's face straightened and his hands were slightly arched. Hearing this, the elder guarding the pavilion immediately took away the ancient book from his face. Meng Chengqing only found out today that this book is called Fangyu Sanren Xiaoyao Ji. Looking at this name, I feel that it has a certain flavor. It's actually you. The elder guarding the pavilion put the ancient book away casually, as if he didn't care that it was discovered. Elder still remember me? Meng Chengqing was stunned. This was something he didn't expect at all. After all, he had only seen it once before. There are so many disciples entering and leaving the martial pavilions every day. It stands to reason that the elder guarding the pavilion should not take it to heart and forget about it in the blink of an eye. Unless that disciple often appears in front of him. It's not bad, I have some impressions. The elder guarding the pavilion said casually. The main reason was that I smelled a hint of power in this child. Although I couldn't be sure, I still had an impression in my heart. Not bad, we actually broke through to the sea opening realm, the progress is very fast. The elder guarding the pavilion raised his eyebrows slightly. Remember, what realm was it in last time? Aperture opening realm 5th layer, or 6th layer, forget it, I can't remember. It only takes more than a month, and even the small aperture opening realm is already very fast. Yes, there are opportunities in the Xuanqing realm. Seeing the tendency of the elder guarding the pavilion to chat, Meng Chengqing immediately answered the conversation. Only by chatting more can we gradually become familiar with each other. But stepping into sea opening can be regarded as a transcendent, and future cultivation will become more difficult. You can do more of the tasks of the sect. Not only do you have resources, but you can also test your will. Don't ignore the improvement of will, spirit, state of mind and other aspects. The further you go in practice, the more important they become. Maybe he thought this was a good idea, so the elder guarding the pavilion also said a little more. Otherwise, he would not have said so much in normal times. Thanks for the tip, elder. Quote, Meng Chengqing nodded. These words are indeed very reasonable. Any powerful force requires a stronger will to control, otherwise the final result will be either going crazy or exploding to death. Are you going to redeem your martial arts skills? Come in quickly. The elder guarding the pavilion picked up the ancient book and prepared to continue reading. Elder, you misunderstood. I am not going to the pavilion to exchange martial arts skills, but you are here. Meng Chengqing said, while taking out the silver token. The elder guarding the pavilion was stunned for a moment until he saw the token. A flash of surprise suddenly flashed in his eyes. This is the local military order. With this order, you can exchange it with him for an Earth-level elementary martial skill. But not everyone can get the earthly military order. Even if it is a true biography, it must be quite outstanding. This guy just joined sea opening, can he get the Earth military order? However, he didn't ask any more questions, but when he looked at Meng Chengqing, his eyes were completely different. Then he waved his right hand, and 2 wooden boxes appeared in front of him. Choose one. There are names on them all. They are Great Freedom Black Gold Sword Technique. The record of the sword born in the Qanghai Tide. Is there no Holy Spirit killing sword technique? Meng Chengqing raised his eyebrows slightly and thought in his mind. Either it's not open to the public, or it's a level higher than these. Can the elder make any recommendations? Meng Chengqing came back to his senses and there was no need to think too much. His current situation is that obtaining any Earth-level elementary martial arts is enough to greatly increase his strength. It depends on personal style. If you are the main killer, choose the Great Freedom Black Gold Sword Technique. The power of black gold has always been extremely sharp and is very suitable for the way of swordsmanship. Once it reaches perfection, it will not be weaker than the ordinary mid-level. The elder guarding the pavilion paused. If you prefer to be defensive, then use the record of swordsmanship born in the Kanghai tide. This sword technique is quite soft and is good at using softness to overcome hardness. Understood. Meng Chengqing nodded. In terms of defense, with the Stoneman bloodline, there is no need to worry too much. So just choose the one that mainly kills. Elder, I choose Great Freedom Black Gold Sword Technique. Meng Chengqing did not hesitate and picked up one of the sleep boxes. The elder who kept the pavilion put away the other one. Old rule, the secret book is not allowed to be taught to others and will be returned after half a year. He was not surprised by Meng Chengqing's choice. Most male disciples choose the former. After all, the Great Freedom Black Gold Sword Technique is not only powerful, but also has a very good fighting style, which can capture the admiration of many girls. The most important thing is that by practicing this sword art, you can master the imperial sky riding art when the sea opening realm is opened, without waiting for fortune. Speaking of returns, Meng Chengqing remembered the sword step and fire control and burning yang technique that he had borrowed before. These two secret books were still in their original residence. Have to go get it back. Please return it together with this secret book when the time comes. Look, that seems to be Senior Brother Meng. My Sao, it's true. Suddenly I heard an exclamation from behind. Meng Chengqing turned around. I saw two inner disciples arriving outside the martial pavilions. It happened to be from Lingxiao Peak. The eyes looking at him were full of excitement. Meng Chengqing smiled slightly and nodded. Then he bowed his hands to the elder who kept the pavilion, then turned and left. Although I really want to add the elder who keeps the pavilion as a friend right away, I can't eat hot tofu in a hurry, so I'd better take my time and think of a solution. In fact, we can also get some information from these two meetings. For example, when he first came here, the elder who guarded the pavilion seemed to like drinking, but this time, he seemed to like watching weird things. You two come here. After Meng Chengqing left, the elder guarding the pavilion pointed at the two disciples. See the elders. Facing the elders, the disciples were still subconsciously afraid. Backquote, is that person famous just now? The elder guarding the pavilion asked. Yeah, of course. When the topic came to Meng Chengqing, the two disciples immediately became active. Tell me the details. The elder guarding the pavilion immediately pricked up his ears. There aren't many things that interest him these days. After a while, in the narration of two disciples, one sentence left and one sentence right. The elder guarding the pavilion finally understood the situation. For the first time, deep shock appeared on the old face. Understand the power of the sword. Almost killed the bloodline monster. Not everyone can do this, any one of them is extremely difficult. But now it is concentrated on one person. Good boy. The elder guarding the pavilion was finally able to confirm his perception more than a month ago. I didn't feel wrong at the time. It does have the flavor of power. This is definitely a genius level. The elder guarding the pavilion breathed a sigh of relief. And from the words of these two disciples, we can also find a very terrifying message. That is this disciple named Meng Chengqing. It seems that he realized the power of the sword when he was in the outer sect, which is the Meridian Forging realm. This is terrible. The power of the sword is martial Tao. An existence that is extremely difficult to comprehend. Even those apex-level true legends, Nuo Jiaos, and the geniuses from all walks of life basically only understood it after entering the true legend. After all, if you want to understand the potential, understanding alone is not enough. You also need a lot of practice and martial Tao knowledge, which is a lot anyway. So I usually stay in the sea opening realm and accumulate my knowledge without making any progress. But this Meng Chengqing exists in Meridian Forging realm. Simply outrageous. In terms of understanding, I'm afraid he has surpassed those geniuses, right? The elder guarding the pavilion thought in his mind. Only in this way can this situation be explained. For such a monster to come to me to redeem his martial arts skills, has he not been accepted into my sect? Tisk, are the top leaders of Lingxiao Peak out of their minds, or are they suffering from lung problems? You can't even take a look at this kind of seedling. If I had known earlier, I would have passed on the Holy Spirit killing sword technique to him. With his understanding, he would be able to practice it to perfection. The elder guarding the pavilion couldn't help but curse. But he shook his head again. Forget it, If the old immortal from Punishment Peak knows about it, he will have to deal with me again. A bunch of old stubborns. They keep talking about the rules all day long, and even dare to punish the head teacher. I'd better keep calm. Why? But next time we meet, I can secretly give you something private. Hey, I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.